All right, look, do we want to do the Super Bowl thing now or later?
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
I didn't even know it was the Super Bowl till it was over.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
So let's start there. Who watched the Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Unfortunately.
Did you win or lose money?
Who says I was betting?
I didn't ask that. Because I don't need to ask.
I lost in multiple ways.
Okay.
Oh, yes, you lost a bet to me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait, what?
What?
Yes. Dude, I'm a big sports bettor these days.
Of course.
I'm not sure if you've heard.
All these commercials going on, of course you would be.
So I bet on whether or not the A minor line would be said, and if it wasn't said, if it would be. It basically came down to if he just said A and let the crowd say minor, whether or not the crowd would finish the minor part.
Right.
No. Our bet was, you said he would sing A minor, the whole line, and I said that it was going to be the crowd that sang it.
No, incorrect. Because you guys were saying that crowd wouldn't know the line to finish it.
Oh, they knew it.
And I was saying they would.
Oh.
He didn't even know what he was betting on.
To be fair, it was one of many bets.
So him and another gentleman took the bet with me, and
you won.
And I won. And it was just a small pot, because I'm not a big gambler.
Just bet for pizza.
Yeah,
basically,
well, I owe him a ton of pizza, so even if I won, I'd have felt guilty.
I think back rubs would have been the currency.
Yeah, there are some that go around in that circle.
Public back rub.
Same.
I'd have to charge the other people that were watching.
Well, see, that's how you monetize. Have you not learned anything from your guy across the table?
That's what I'm
here?
saying. Like, look, keep the private stuff private. And if we're gonna make it public, I got to get fucking paid.
So Super Bowl. So I watched Super Bowl. Phil came over and watched the Super Bowl with
No
us.
kidding.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
You always ask that every time
I know, but I need to know.
So I invited
So you
him
hit
up.
Philip specifically, and
Yeah,
you were like,
so
I know
but
you're
not
big.
anybody else,
Truthfully,
though.
he
Not
came-
anybody else.
Hang on. He came over, I think last year for either for the Super Bowl or maybe it was
and he
something
asked
else.
also, how did he end up there?
And I don't. So Phil hit me up, was like, "Hey, you guys watching the games today?" And it was a couple. I was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about."
Right.
And then I was like, "Let's see if he wants to come over to the Super Bowl." So Kelly made this chili mac stuff, which she calls it fancy hamburger helper. It's like
sounds like it.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. She made
I
cornbread
would have
with
came
it.
for that.
Okay, fine.
I guess Brofest's over.
Yeah, it's just a different set of bros now.
Different set of bros.
How does it feel, Joey?
I know
how
how
does
it feel. Bobby?
to be on the outside?
I'm so sorry.
Put your robe back on it, but it feels cold.
What if I told you? What if I had said, "Hey, you just want to come hang out tonight," and not told you it was a Super Bowl, and you got there, and then you had to listen to us watch the Super Bowl?
But if there was a hamburger helper there, I'd be good.
Okay, all right. Well, there's actually leftovers if you want to come over.
That's like
after
the
this.
lowest bar possible.
What's the low bar?
Hamburger Helper.
Helper.
I love hamburger helper.
Fucking low. I'll tell you
Two
something
things
funny.
can be true.
Okay. You're right.
I eat it. I'm just saying, if you brown meat in a pan and then add a packet of shit and then some water or milk or whatever the fuck it calls for, it's not
Sure.
like you went out of your way to make an extravagant meal.
That's out of the way for me to
But-
make that. That's out of the way and
Saying that
extravagant.
to say, I mean, look, Kelly didn't go all skull face and make noodles or anything, but
Who can?
And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to
No,
eat.
it's
I'm
not.
just saying
It's
that's
great.
the bar that Joey's willing
Yeah.
to come over.
Yeah,
Kelly's a good cook, though. I know Kelly's a good cook.
I got some Vienna sausages and some saltine crackers.
Never mind. It gets lower.
Hey man, well no, this is how I get. Hey Joey, I got some of those 100-calorie tuna packs.
Oh, yeah.
Hey bro, I got this protein powder. We need to get through it
So
today.
you're basically saying I went to the store.
Because I don't. Dude.
That's fair.
Bro, when my wife
deliver.
is out of town, I don't go to food mart. Like, that's a trip for me. To go to McDonald's across the street, you know where that is?
Yeah.
I will eat wherever the fuck is in the house till it's done before we go
but
out.
all of these things can be delivered.
Yeah.
He knows that.
No
I have to fucking
No
get
contact.
delivery. That's too much
so-
effort.
Oh, now
So
who's
the-
on the other side of the old technology?
it's an effort thing.
The Super Bowl. Yes, Phil came over and Kelly cooked, and Phil brought desserts. Surprise, surprise! One of them was a Dolly Parton brand cheesecake, which I was excited to try. It was the saltiest thing I've ever eaten.
just like
So
her breast milk.
I went. I mean, there was a time. I think that time has passed, but there was a time I would have rode that roller coaster.
Oh my God, are you dumb? I'll be right there next to you, brother.
Okay, we'll hold hands.
Well, they're big
Eiffel
enough.
Tower.
Yeah.
So they're big enough that you could do it.
I mean, Kelly also made white queso and chips, but we won't get into that. But
Isn't that just white cheese?
Man, I see somebody that's never getting invited to dinner.
He's having cheese and Hamburger
I'm excited for it.
Mainly because my wife's gonna smack the shit out of you.
You don't say it in front of her.
I don't know. He might.
Maybe.
No,
What,
I
is this just?
wouldn't.
is
I
this just-
I behave
Oh,
myself.
so you made Hamburger Helper?
No, I'd be like, this is great Hamburger Helper. which box did you use?
Mix
So I
mix
will
multiple
tell
of them
you-
together to be fancy.
Oh, did you use whole milk?
I will tell you, my wife is a fantastic cook.
Yeah, she is.
The one thing she cannot fucking wrap her head around, she always somehow fucks up Hamburger Helper.
Really?
I don't. But like she makes homemade.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But
yeah.
She can't follow directions.
prior
sort of.
life, I ate a fuck ton of Hamburger Helper. It was super easy to make. It was cheap. And if
love
you
it.
put croissants in the bottom of the pan, when you put it in, you bake it. You got a little like fancy ass white trash, beautiful kind of
That sounds awesome.
casserole. Hey, you know that life.
Alabama.
Hey, in a house trailer in the woods in Alabama, I ate a lot of Hamburger Helper.
And all of it was purchased from the Piggly Wiggly.
Yep. Yep. So, anyways, I'm sorry. Did you watch it, Bobby?
I watched the show.
You just watched it. Did you? And you, Joey?
Only thing I saw from there is Seal being a Seal talking
Okay.
about Baja Blast, which is
That
amazing.
was great.
there were
I
some.
love Baja Blast.
Seal
Yeah.
was a seal.
Yeah.
Seal was
I like
a seal
that.
in a Baja
Commercial.
Blast commercial.
Yeah, so the Baja Blast commercial, take or leave, but Seal being a seal, I'm here for.
It's the whole package. You need to
it's
see
worth
it.
enough.
Yeah, it was
I will say
actually
my.
worth
I
watching.
think my
Okay.
favorite commercial. It's for Michelob Ultra. It is Willem Dafoe and Catherine O'Hara, and they're hustling pickleball to get Michelob Ultras, and it is fucking fantastic.
William Dafoe is he's such a
And he makes those
he's-
crazy faces at the camera and shit.
He's in that orbit of Christopher Walken for me,
yeah.
of like such a character.
Oh yeah.
But he's pretty good. Also, well, Christopher Walken can be really good.
Walken
too.
is really good. No, it's not-
I-
it's not-
I
it's not a
think-
knock.
I think Willem Dafoe has had more serious roles, perhaps.
Yeah, but so is Walken. Like Walken was in Apocalypse Now and shit.
Right,
like people
right, but-
forget, like you know, 'cause
Right, but like Willem Dafoe is like still known for like being a serious quote unquote actor, and Walken not so much.
What about the,
don't know
the
that's true.
off the
I don't know
wall
if that's
character that he played in Boondock Saints?
Oh, dude.
Where are you going? Nowhere.
No,
it
But when he's, like, cross-dressing-
firefight.
when he's cross dressing at the end.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that was before that was widely accepted by
Yeah.
society, right?
Yeah,
I know Bobby loves the John Wick franchise, but he's Willem Dafoe is in the first John Wick movie, and my favorite line of his from that movie is basically the mobsters have caught up that he didn't kill John Wick when he was supposed to, basically, and they like meet him at his house, and he's like, "Let's just get this shit over with," because he knew that he was
Yeah.
going to beat the fuck out of him and kill him. So Super Bowl, the game itself, I'm going to refer to my rude about food.
You rang.
Neighbor here. What happened to Mahomes? Did he like do like hard drugs the night before for the first time ever? Because it just seemed like he crumbled and he was nervous and
So I have
he wasn't himself.
An unpopular opinion,
Okay.
or not unpopular, but I'm the minority in this case.
Oh, how does that feel?
You almost got another new computer because I almost just spit fucking coffee.
we're all having new experiences. You know how it feels to be on the outside.
And now we know how it is to be on top.
Well, let's wait till we talk about the halftime show because boy, I have a lot to say. And
Me too.
I've done research with different demographics about. I literally called people.
I'm ready to talk about it.
Were they different shades of what?
Beige, off-white,
Eggshell.
Sand.
primer.
Travis. Mahomes.
Patty Mahomes.
Yep.
So I think he was just exposed for the caliber player that he is.
Oh, so he wasn't as good as people think he was.
So it's
Yeah. So like
but it's taken 7 years to show that. Let's say.
So, like, if
I mean, they did
went
win
back
the past 2 years.
right, but what was his contribution in all those wins?
Having a hot wife to hang out with Taylor Swift.
Right.
I don't know.
So I don't know either.
I don't. That's what I'm asking.
This is out of my wheelhouse.
You
Yeah,
asking
I know
us
it's talking about
questions?
blowout.
Just tell us because
Yeah,
we're
so,
not
like,
going to know.
I don't watch a ton of Chiefs football, right? But every time I have seen a game with him playing, like I don't see him doing things that are like the greatest quarterback of all time, like they've been trying to pump up over the last 8 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So, when the rest of the team starts to fail, like the superstar people in the league tend to try to bring the team with them, and I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, every game there's going to be a drop pass, there's going to be a fumble, like whatever. But like the superstar players are the ones that continue to perform.
Yeah, it's what we remember, right? Yeah.
So I just feel like he wasn't a superstar. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like, it's like when things started going poorly, he just rode the fucking train down into the ground. Like, it's over.
Interesting
So,
take.
like,
I don't-
Kelsey didn't have a great game.
No, he didn't.
The running backs didn't have a great game.
Taylor Swift got booed.
Yeah,
The offensive line didn't have a great game. Like, he's supposed to be a scrambling quarterback, but he got sacked fucking 7 times.
Oh,
in
it
a
was
row
awful.
or something like
That pocket collapsed on him like aluminum foil.
right. But like other quarterbacks that they typically put him in of the
Caliber. Yeah.
but the non-pocket passing quarterbacks would have not been sacked 7
Yeah, he didn't scramble hardly at all.
Right.
Like,
So-
I don't know. I mean, Philly was definitely the better team on that day. That's
so
all
they
I
beat
can
their
say.
ass, right?
They beat their
Oh,
ass.
oh,
I mean,
it was
it was awful.
brutal.
Like, till halftime. I mean, it was 0. Was it 40?
34-0 or something.
Yeah, at halftime.
Which I'm happy about. Like in terms of like you have to ask me if I care. No, but so pretend you care. Okay, now who do you want to win? Philly.
Okay.
For me because it's like
is it closer geographically?
It's closer geographically. It's always kind of felt like Baltimore's big brother in some way.
And the accents are very, very similar.
The purge needs to happen somewhere. So,
You got Rocky Balboa up
I
there
love
a bit.
the people who are like, it doesn't matter who wins tonight. Y'all pray for Philly. And the mayor was
that's a
like,
fact.
don't get on light poles. And they were carrying around a
mean,
fucking light pole like a goalpost.
I saw like people playing like recorded radio traffic from the police side in Philadelphia that night, and it's just like it sounds horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Like
Crazy.
they love their sports. I love that for
I
them.
think they like mayhem more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times, man, I think people are just looking for an excuse. Like,
Yeah,
go
but-
fucking nuts. Like this.
So maybe, but I just say that to say this, like, you don't see the same thing when a movie gets called Philadelphia, or when like Beanie Siegel comes to town, or Will Smith wins an Oscar, or you know what I mean, like these other.
But
sort
what
of,
if?
But what if?
What if West Philadelphia, born and raised,
On the
playground,
it's burned to the ground?
when these other like Philadelphia icons happen, or Meek Mill, when these like they play the Meek Mill intro for like every fucking Eagles game. You know what I mean? Like he's a staple of Philadelphia. But like when he does a show in Philadelphia, like things don't go topsy-turvy, as it were, but they do. I mean, all their sports, fucking football, baseball, like the whole shit. They go
that's
nuts
like-
over all of it.
I think it's just quote unquote acceptable. It's like accepted from sports game people, riots. That's been a historic thing. Now it shows like, oh, this is a free pass to fucking riot.
Yeah.
And also it's a definitive end, right? Like a show or an award is not the same as like a game that's been played and now you have a winner or loser. Like, I don't know. There's something about the climax of a game that changes the dynamic of I
think it's the competitive thing. Like
concert.
you sit and you commit to this competitive thing for so long, and then the chances of you winning are
Minus 550 according to FanDuel.
Well, I mean,
But the thing is, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You fucking riot anyway, and then you
Right.
destroy the
Yeah,
city.
no, I'm not-
You destroy your own city. It doesn't
not-
make sense to me.
I'm not condoning the behavior. I think
yeah.
the behavior is barbaric. I'm saying that it specifically is related to sports in that town. That they have a thing for
they do,
sports.
and that's why they were memes about it and stuff. But so I guess we'll talk about what seems to be the. Well, I did want to say one more thing about the game. There had always kind of been a narrative, and it seems like the past. And my food hater right here beside
You rang again?
I cannot wait.
To be, for what it's worth, I hate Hamburger Helper also. Like
I don't hate it.
Nobody hates
a
it,
lot of
bro.
things though, Bobby.
Yes, I do hate a lot of things, so I feel like mine doesn't mean as much.
I mean, you're kind of right.
You know, we can
You
put
don't like
ketchup on it.
meatloaf. You don't like onions.
Well, I don't dislike meatloaf.
He hates it.
I can't even be in the same room as it.
I've experienced this when we
It's
were
just
first
a big
friends.
hamburger with ketchup on it.
No, bro.
Egg.
I did not know about this about him when we
Onion.
first started hanging out.
You
I
never
brought
had a hamburger
over.
with egg
I
in
brought
it?
over fucking
Don't eat hamburgers in my house.
meatloaf, and I started heating up in the microwave, and he was going to fucking throw up, and I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah, I can't handle it. Like it's like it's literally.
And then he told me the story of why.
So this is a thing that bothers me about this quick divergence in the force. But like when I say, like when people say, "Luke, I am your father," right? It's like one of those things. It's like it's nails on the chalkboard for me, right? Because that's not what the fuck he says. Do you know what I mean? And like it's the same thing when I say all the time. I say meatloaf is my kryptonite, and people will be like, "Oh, you just can't get enough of it, huh?" And I'm like, no, that's not how kryptonite works.
Superman doesn't love eating up kryptonite.
Kryptonite can't be in the same room as Superman, or he becomes instantly crippled. You know,
And not from loving it so much.
no, from despising, from an allergic almost reaction. You know,
So, Super Bowl.
yeah.
I'm under the vague impression that
Ring again, I guess.
I watch that game. That's probably the only football game I watch every year, like on purpose. That's
fair enough.
Mainly for the content outside of the football. But saying that to say, it seems like the games have been relatively close the past 5-6 years, like score wise.
Oh, in
they're
the actual
competitive
Super
to
Bowl?
the end, because if I'm an advertiser, right, and I bought fourth quarter slots because they're only 7.8 million instead of 8 million. And the game is a shit bird, and now, well, fuck, people may not even be watching this anymore because
I think they're still watching. I mean, they might not be paying attention, actually. So, yeah, it's kind of weird.
But you already have a Super Bowl party, so it's still on in the background.
Yeah,
right?
and that's the
Well,
thing
yeah.
that probably matters the most is because you can't really track how effective your ads were.
You just,
Yeah,
the screen just has to be on.
And the fact that it's not distributed the way it used to be. You know,
Well,
it used to
and
be that a particular channel carried it. Now it's available through Netflix. It's fucking Tubi had it. Like, you know, like it's like Fox, I think, had
Fox
it
was
also.
the main
So Fox
broadcast
had it also.
for it,
Like
yeah.
it was available through all of these like separate but very specific mediums. Like the game is just the game is stop. It's
look how
changed though.
slick
It's
it
changed.
is. Look
Well,
how
so
slick
the
it
other
is.
thing is like
We're talking about the Super Bowl, guy.
So Super Bowl.
since the Super Bowl commercials have become a thing, right? Like just having it aired and being categorized as a Super Bowl commercial
Yes.
gets you onto that whatever fucking .com list of best Super Bowl, worst Super Bowl, like
Right.
And people will
So
look it up
yeah,
anyway.
and it doesn't
Well-
matter if like you know, like oh, I want to be in the first quarter, I want to be the first break. You know, it doesn't matter because the people are going to fucking take it in anyway.
And,
Yeah.
and
So to
I'll
speak.
tell you, like, I don't remember what it was. There was something there was an ad for, and they had a website. Oh, that looks cool. I'll check that out. And their traffic was they'd locked the website. The traffic,
wow.
Yeah, they had hit their
So was it for
bandwidth.
Netflix? Was the commercial for Netflix?
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the musical performance.
Okay, let's do it.
So
So
let's talk before we do
Who was
that.
the lead on that?
Bobby, what were your expectations going in? Did you have any?
So okay,
Because I know that's always, I always want to frame that with you when we talk about stuff from now on, because your expectations are probably not the same as mine or
True.
anyone else.
So my expectations were like going to be kind of standard with previous Super Bowl performances. It was going to be an artist going up and doing the greatest hits, smash hits of their catalog.
And like the choruses of, yeah.
Yeah, and then closing out. And
Okay.
and that to me was actually, before I get it, did you watch it?
I have a question.
Could you answer mine first?
Yes.
Okay, you did watch it.
No.
Oh,
fuck
okay.
No, you
Okay.
didn't watch the halftime,
The
7-minute
half-
halftime?
okay,
Okay.
never.
Okay. Fair.
Don't say
been
never. If it was somebody that you liked, you might watch it. Like if it was like, don't you love like Bullet for My Valentine or some of that emo shit? Like the what do you
My
like?
Kim.
Yeah, My Kim. Like if it was My Kim, you might check
Not
it out.
live, no.
No, not live.
Oh,
it doesn't have to be
yeah,
live.
like it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
How many
things that are on TV you can find later.
Yeah,
If I cared- if I cared,
but he
if it
wasn't.
looks
He
good.
wasn't interested.
How many musics do they play in the halftime show?
So it's-
you mean like how many songs?
so-
it all depends.
I thought it was like one song.
No.
It's
It's
a performance. So it is. Have you Ever seen a halftime show?
Fuck no.
Like Janet Jackson
No.
back in the day. You never watched?
I know of them afterwards.
Okay,
And
well-
if something happens, like a tit come out, then I know about it.
Well, I
and
know
I
you
look
know
up that
that.
clip.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
that's it.
He doesn't know how many musics are going to be played in a particular.
All right, so they do a 7-minute performance, and it's a medley of their hits.
I know what a medley is.
Right,
Like a
It's-
salad.
It's like a montage.
Yes.
Or a salad, or a gumbo, or maybe even like
sometimes like
some
broccoli
homemade,
with
some
cauliflower.
homemade hamburger helper, maybe.
Yes. 7 minutes worth of musics.
7 minutes worth of music and performance. There's normally dancing. A ton of
I know
people.
that I know it's a huge performance. I know it's a huge deal. Sometimes there's
a lot
fireworks
of
and shit.
lip syncing also.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Is that accepted there?
It is there. Well, I'll tell you, Kendrick didn't lip sync.
No.
but SZA did, and so did.
So SZA did not, to my understanding.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounded like lip sync because it was. And the other thing we have to remember is they're in this the audio is awful. It did.
So I've heard that too from
it was not-
and I just heard it on a separate podcast this morning.
This
Somebody
wasn't
making the
clear.
same complaint. So I will withdraw my stance. Maybe it's my familiarity with the records that I had no problem understanding it. But we've already gotten sidetracked from the initial question. So you did not watch it. You had a subsequent question for me.
And that was
How many musics?
How many
did they
music?
play?
how many music?
So,
So,
7 minutes.
It's about 7 minutes
Yeah,
worth
just
of
whatever
It
content.
can be
you wanna-
7 1-minute songs or one 7-minute song.
correct.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
going to be
Correct.
12 or 15 probably pieces of song.
Correct.
Pharaoh's dying over here.
So for my expectations.
Yes.
So my expectations were that he was going to do his biggest hits over the years of all of his albums. And for me, my expectation was that I was not going to enjoy it because I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan. Mm-hmm. I love most of his recent stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I love some songs here and there throughout his catalog and his career, which I have followed from beginning to end. And I think he's incredibly talented. Like it's similar to Eminem for me,
Yeah.
where I think he's incredibly talented. He just usually doesn't make the type of music I want to listen to.
Objectively, he's good. Subjectively, you don't like him that much.
Correct.
Because
Until-
Anakin Raymond.
Because he's
Yes,
from
and-
Compton.
not true. Until recently, because recently I've loved everything that he's done by and large.
I can agree with you. Like I've listened to all his albums over the course of time, and yeah, like the one that's got the van on his Mad City.
Good Kid, Mad City.
It's a good album, but I'm not going to ever just vibe to the whole
So
thing. There's
kids
some
that grew
tracks
up with
on
that
there.
in their teenage years,
Sure.
that to them is
Oh, yeah.
like ain't nothing but a G thing. Like that's
Right.
like the Chronic. It's like one
Yeah.
of them for them. And I like. I think it's worthwhile just because we're gonna have this conversation. I knew this conversation was gonna take some time. I'm gonna read you the songs that I like off that album, which is technically his second album.
Right.
It is Backseat Freestyle.
Yep.
Money Trees.
Yep.
Mad City featuring MC8.
Yep.
And Compton featuring
Okay.
Dr. Dre. Those are the 4 songs that I like off that album. Now my kid Jaina loves Kendrick.
Is
Loves all
there
of
a
his-
hit on there other than
Mad
what
City's a hit.
What you listed?
Mad City and Money Trees are the two big hits.
Those are the ones.
That pools or swimming pools was.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah,
that's
I don't know what
that's on
album.
the next album. I think.
Okay, so the next album is To Pimp a Butterfly, I think, right?
Maybe.
So I don't have anything on To Pimp a Butterfly.
Let me look. Let me
Not a thing. I don't like one song on that album, and it's considered a classic, and I don't like one song on it.
I don't like that it's considered a classic because it's like from like fucking 8 years ago.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's
time
long
passes
enough.
really
In
fast
hip
now.
hop specifically,
I
it's
know,
long
I know,
enough.
it's just-
Time goes by so fast.
So then there was. I want to hear to see if
especially when there's so many musics out there.
There's a lot of music. There's like non-stop music nowadays.
Yeah, musics are non-stops.
I mean, because there's so much platform. Like you just go on Spotify and just like
anybody
1,000
can just
new
put-
musics.
yeah,
a fucking
anybody
week.
can just put it up
Exactly.
every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, one moose, 2 mooses.
That's how I learned.
I'm getting there. It's-
No worries, no worries.
I'm still
What are
like
you
just
doing, Spotify?
appalled that like it's accepted to people with the lip sync at a performance. Like, what is the perform? I guess you're just watching a dance recital at that
Yeah, I
point.
think it depends. I think it depends. I think it depends.
So I
it depends
don't know. It's a point of view thing.
Yeah,
For
I
me,
think
it's
it
like
depends
you
on
want
the
to see something
nature of the
live.
performance. Like if Michael Jackson's going to give me the dance performance of a lifetime,
Then that's what I'm saying. It's a dance performance at
Right.
that point because like if you're watching a musician
but most of
play
these
music,
most
like,
of
you
these
would think
folks
you
do
want to.
dance performances. Like if you look at like especially recently, right? Like the Ushers, the Janet Jacksons,
right.
the Timberlakes, the Rihannas. Like these are dance.
Yeah, but
performances.
that's not how they build as, right? They're
I know.
musical performance.
All right.
Yeah, but it's like a musical performance, so it's like, but they're leaning into this side of the
Yeah.
performance more than that.
I guess it's just like a.
The songs off of the Pimp a Butterfly that I recognize is King Kunta and All Right.
Yeah, so All Right's another huge record of his. Huge record. And it's just not for me. Mr. Morale and the Big... Oh, no, the next one was Damn. The next album of his is Damn. I like the 2 singles, Humble and DNA. And I love them. They're the first 2 Kendrick songs that I actually love. The other songs on Good Kid, Mad City, I like. Those 2 songs I loved. And Humble actually took me a minute to get on board with it. At first, I was like, I don't know. But DNA, I loved from the moment I heard it. Love at first listen.
By the way, Swimming Pools is on Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you babysitting? Yeah, that's
Swimming Pools would be another.
That's arguably his biggest hit, in my opinion. Like mainstream hit.
Okay, it's hard for
and
me
I know
to. It's
your
hard for me to
Bobby is
understand
the
that.
opposite of that.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously Damn was a huge hit for him, and GNX and
So wait,
all
then
the
there's
singles.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, double album.
I'm not even familiar with it.
I don't like one song on.
I don't
double album
Have I
Which song
heard
do you
any?
not like? You don't like one?
through 28.
I don't know that I've even heard this. There's actually
So don't
the
care
hard
for it.
part 5 is
So I don't like any of the hearts.
okay. That's fine. That's
And-
understandable.
So then he did the songs on the Black Panther soundtrack.
Is that because you're heartless?
No, not at all. My
That's
heart's too
a-
big.
yeah,
is my
that's
problem.
actually listed
Both medically,
here.
probably, and So then there's the Black Panther soundtrack
Yeah.
and stuff. And I loved "Pray for Me" and I loved "All the Stars." Right, the 2 like big songs on there from him. Loved it. And then that's when he kind of like, okay, I'm going to pay closer attention to him. And then the diss shit started, right? And I loved all of his stuff on the diss records, and then GNX dropped, and I loved all the songs but 2. So when I get ready for this, all of that to say this, when I get ready for this performance, I'm guessing I'm going to like 2 or 3 songs maybe that he performs. It was all the new stuff for the most part. Mm-hmm. I loved almost every fucking second of this performance.
It was good. I enjoyed it. There was
So my expectations were low
it passed your expectations.
because of the song selection.
Okay, so
Music's.
Music.
So it was very interesting the way they did it with, and I'm not going to explain the whole thing. You can look it up, Joey, if you give a shit. But Samuel L. Jackson played Uncle Sam, but they took these breaks on this from above. It was the 4 PlayStation buttons on the stage. Shit's fucking clever. Someone said that one of the codes he puts in
It's for Ultimate Armor.
It's Ultimate Armor in some game. So there's a lot, and that's the cool thing about his shit is it's like
layered.
layers and layers, and this dude is so fucking creative and coming up with this shit. He had a street, he had people in white, he had people in red, and people in blue, and they would pretty much stay to themselves until towards the end there. I enjoyed it. What did you think, Farrell? All right, well, I guess let me ask a precursor. Are you a fan of Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask even a further precursor question that I think a lot of people outside of our demographic were asking. Did you know who Kendrick Lamar was?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I thought it was good. I did think the audio was poor, and that's just because it's a stadium, and I think the genre of music doesn't lend well to that
Venue.
Acoustics.
the acoustics of it.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
And I think that a lot of the because I even put in our group chat that I thought he was lip syncing, right in the very very beginning of it.
Now, he had a backing track at the beginning.
So,
So there was a couple times. I mean, and that's just how those guys perform.
Well,
Right?
so, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized like he couldn't say every word that is in the actual song because a lot of it is tracks.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
once I remembered that, I was like, oh, okay. And he was 100% singing at the end. Mm-hmm. And I thought the most interesting part, because I'm going to jump ahead now.
Okay.
The A minor part. I was surprised that he kind of phoned that line in.
That he had the crowd do it.
No,
Oh.
that he just, it was sung almost matter of fact instead of the way I thought.
Oh, instead of putting a big
minor.
inflection on
an
it.
inflection in it.
Because
And-
he knew the crowd was going to pop for it.
I think
He
so,
didn't
too.
want
but
to
I don't
cover
think
that up.
watching it live and even watching the version that I have of it there, the crowd, because the acoustics are so terrible in a fucking stadium like that, like it didn't even sound like the crowd got to that inflection point that I was expecting from.
I don't know.
It felt like it felt flat.
I don't know if I agree. I think the crowd did make it work.
Because didn't I send you the one of the stadium perspective?
Yeah, I've seen.
I feel like
several
I've
of those.
watched 1,000 fucking.
Yeah, so the stadium perspective of somebody and obviously like it probably doesn't sound as great because they're recording with their phone and
Right.
sitting, but like you could hear people in the stadium sing it, but it wasn't like 100,000 people saying the same thing where you get that like
Is that
like
open dome or closed dome kind of deal? I know some of them
it's
have
open.
Some of
It's
them
open.
have a convertible dome.
So
There's only a few of them.
sounded pretty in unison to me.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't in unison.
Oh, okay.
It didn't have that like, when you have because we've watched videos of people singing it in clubs where it like vibrates to the point that like the sound quality goes down.
Right.
Like it didn't feel like everybody in there was belting it out.
Yeah, and they don't build those stadiums for acoustics.
No. I'm not
it's
saying
like-
it's their fault. I'm just saying like
You need to hear offsides.
Yeah.
17.
I can't
defense.
I can't hear that shit most of the time if I hear people like if I'm in a room and people are watching the game and
10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
That's why they do the hand signals.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
a hand and arm
air
signal.
traffic
Yeah.
controller
We
thing.
hey, too soon.
I got a story to tell.
So I think so. Let me say I loved the performance. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to try not to get on a soapbox with this shit. I think what's great about Kendrick is that he does have layered performances, and everything that he does is layered.
Everything's meaningful.
He is undoubtedly an artist, and he is trying to express and mean something with almost everything that he does, and I think that that's great. I think that because of that, everyone is left to their own interpretations of it, and that's also great. I think that I have read a lot of interpretations of it over the past week that I think are undoubtedly wrong, but that's just my interpretation. And
There's also people seeing things there that I'm not sure there.
there's a lot of, in my opinion, there was an awful lot of reaching with what the message was for this song and for this performance. And I think the messaging was pretty clear. And I don't think it was necessarily sometimes these folks.
I have a video to play as well. On
Okay,
this,
good,
from the perspective of people who did not care for this, and
Who did not care.
Well, and I'll tell you, my dad posted, and I've got to talk to him about this because all he posts is negative shit on Facebook.
yeah.
I mean, he's
what
a
Facebook's
boomer who
for.
posts on
He
Facebook.
said, actual football aside, the Super Bowl entertainment has hit a new low.
Yeah, it's just him getting older is what it is.
It is, and I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna play this one. This is like this caption is did you know that years ago Kendrick Lamar predicted his own Super Bowl performance? And this is satire, right? But this is what bothers me with how some people, and I like Kendrick's music and I respect him as an artist, but some people I think overreach, and this is a satire on that. But
I still rock Mercedes funk. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest funk.
In 2025, I will play at the Super Bowl.
Rice choke,
Yeah,
put the baby in the spot.
That's funny. So I think, I mean, truthfully, the world's all about perspective. And I understand, like, my dad doesn't know who Kendrick Lamar is or care to listen to Kendrick Lamar. But he posted this, and then there are 41 comments, and it's void of any talent whatsoever. I hope they didn't pay a lot for that. I only stood half of Sam Jackson's words, none of the others. At least they had their clothes on. Hey, we have public service announcements. We have tearjerker human interest stories. What you want to be in? I don't know what that means. And then exactly, it was stupid, and they did their little GIF with 100% gray-haired people all the way across the board. They should have had the pregame entertainment on at halftime. The tribute song from Lady Gaga, which she played at the beginning for the military, firefighters, and police, was fantastic. I'm like, wow, you know who Lady Gaga is. So, anyways, that's the sentiment.
She's white.
Right.
so, and I don't think it's I want to just comment on that real quick because we're going. I've seen a lot of that, and I've seen a lot of it from very predictable sides, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's a white-black thing. I think it's 100% a hip-hop thing. Nobody makes a whole big fuss when Usher's up there. Nope. When Rihanna's up there. Nope. when Janet's up there, unless the titty comes out. Nobody makes a big fuss.
I think depending on which circle you're in, they're still making a fuss of each other.
Which circle? Hell, are you in?
Pass the ox.
maybe in some circles for sure,
Right.
like the clan, but like
No, I'm saying
Foot Clan.
I'm
But
saying
like-
on Chris's dad's Facebook.
yeah, maybe, but I don't think
Alabama?
because I have a fair amount of gray-haired people on my feed as well, and I didn't see any of this sort of reaction over Usher or Rihanna or Timberlake. I mean,
I have a pretty diverse group of people on my Facebook.
we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
No interruption whatsoever.
No.
In his 5th show,
Okay, yeah.
Earl's had his first edit. Give him a round of applause or a big up or something. There you go. Way to go, man.
And
Thank
And it wasn't the thing we normally have to cut out. The topic we normally have to cut out.
and it was great. It
was
was a great
fantastic.
joke. It's just you can never tell how people are going to take things.
That's right. Well,
Okay, so I don't even remember where I was.
You have a diverse group of
yeah.
Facebook friends.
Yeah, so and I see that kind of stuff is always out there, right? Like it's always, and it is hip hop culture that they dislike, but I'm not sure that it's separate in their mind.
No,
from
that's a
white or
problem.
black.
Bobby knows it. There's a problem of,
So,
of
yes.
like culture and race are
Right?
not the same thing, but people don't realize that.
Yes.
They combine them all the time.
That's true.
I've had that conversation with my parents.
I 100% agree, but they don't realize that they separate it when it's not hip hop, is my opinion.
Right.
So when Janet's on there, they don't realize that they're making the separation.
okay. Yeah, I can.
You see what I'm saying?
Because it comes down a lot of the time to content.
Yeah, she's singing.
And the fact
she's
they can
dancing.
understand what she's
it's still
doing.
in
It's
line with how they view and understand music.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, hip hop's been around older than us.
Yeah,
just
and
about.
it is the dominant culture.
Yeah.
Like when musically specifically, but
Yeah.
like it controls everything. Alternative is starting to sound like hip hop. R&B sounds like hip hop now. Like it is the dominant music culture.
So I called my dad the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, my parents both had COVID and didn't even fucking tell me. Like their
I thought
whole
that shit was over.
RV park down in Florida got infested with COVID. They said it was like the American Family Camper group was here the week before, and I don't think they cleaned up too good. I was like, okay, well, either way. So I called my dad, pleasantry. I said, hey, I saw your post on Facebook. What didn't you like about it? And he said, why did you comment mustard? And he said, is it because some people like mustard and some people like ketchup? So I gave him like the briefest explanation of he had heard of Drake. He knew Drake was.
Yeah, Drake's a megastar.
Yeah, but my dad knows her. That's weird. But I explained that this was a diss song and I think he might have understood what I meant. I said it was like that time Waylon Jennings and Chris Christopherson didn't see eye to eye.
He's like, oh, son of a bitch.
just like that. So,
And he's not like country like that at all. Like
no, he's not.
Actually,
well, he gets in his pocket like
no,
that.
but I mean in terms of like how he speaks. And
No. It's funny you say that, but like not being around them all the time now, like my dad definitely is a very pronounced Southern accent.
Really?
Both my parents do, yeah. And it's probably, my dad doesn't have a corporate job. He's not talking to people all over the world anymore. He's talking to, you're talking to Earl down at the tractor store, right?
Yeah.
So I said, what didn't you like about it? He's like, well, they really needed to not alienate half their audience. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, who spends money in this country? It's people your age and up, right? I said, the target demographic for advertising in America is 18 to 35. He said, well, okay, I guess I'm outside of that pocket now. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Who would you want to see? Mm-hmm. And he went off on he went off on a tangent. He never said
that
anybody.
new guy.
Hang on. Yeah. What is he, Chinese?
I'll tell you what, he's like, I hate that type of shit.
That guy can go.
He's got it. Like
He does.
he's got it. He's the best Journey impersonator in the world.
He's the second.
My personal opinion is that
Is he a better Steve Perry than Steve Perry?
is that once you lose a Steve Perry, you
Yeah.
either rebrand with a
Like
new singer,
Van Halen, right.
or you give a new identity to the sound,
Like
but
Linkin Park.
Yeah, but you can't. Yes, but you can't. You like now. Whenever I hear this guy do Steve Perry, which I think he's fucking great at it, I can't. I'm still thinking about Steve Perry. I'm not thinking about him or Journey or whatever.
So I said, so he said, anybody that's put out an album in the past 10 years, who would you like to see? And he was stumped. I said, you guys watch The Voice. The coaches on there are all anybody from there. He didn't say. I said, give me a name. Who would you like to see? And are you ready for this list? Oh, I know it off the dome. I don't even have to look because I've told the story. Barbara Streisand.
Are you like unironically Barbara Streisand?
How's everybody take that?
I mean, that's probably not the right choice.
My kids don't even know who Barbara Streisand is because I asked them this. All right, real quick. Can anyone name 4 Barbara Streisand songs?
I can't name one.
So
I forgot she was a musician.
All I have is people.
So people
People who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
And then there's another one that
I can see why he would prefer
You
it,
creep
or Kendrick.
into my heart and make my heart burn.
Heartful.
Okay.
You sneak into my life and make my life go on.
And she did the what was that movie Gaga and Bradley Cooper did? Born
a Star.
Yeah, so her and Chris Christopherson, that was the original version of it. And I'm not sure if there's songs from that. All right. Are you ready for the next one?
Ready. On bated breath.
Lionel Richie.
Oh, hey, you know I'm not going to complain about that. I fucking tell you what.
Bobby, I want hold it for a second. Can you two name 4 Lionel Richie songs? Okay, hang on.
Name no, but I know
Okay,
Lionel
can you
Richie
name
songs. I can't name any songs though.
3 Lionel Richie. Bobby, hold on.
okay.
Hold on. He's about to explode over here.
No.
Because I know you're on a whole nother level. He's going to list the first 4 albums in chronological order.
I don't think I could name one.
Okay, I have 2 immediate is Hello and Dancing on the Ceiling.
Yeah, those are the 2 big
Those are
ones.
like his hits, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, if anyone listening hasn't seen, go on YouTube, pause this, go on YouTube and watch the music video for the Lionel Richie song Hello.
It's so creepy now. It's so creepy.
I think it's been a long time since I've seen it.
So basically, it's about a blind girl that by the end of it has somehow sculptured a Lionel Richie head that kind of looks more like the Cowardly Lion than Lionel Richie. Rotoscoping, I guess, wasn't around back then.
A little bit of a chia pet looking thing.
Hello, the song,
Because it's like she's right, and she's like sculpting it out. And does she feel on his face too while she's doing
probably it sounds about right. Could you imagine if like Manson in his prime did that song like super Hello?
Anyway, the other I'm not the biggest Lionel Richie fan in the world, but the other song that jumps out to me is like the third obvious is All Night Long.
Well, yeah, sure, and then. You know,
Stuck on You is like another one.
And I told my dad, it's like, no, you can't count Commodore songs because I don't know how many of them motherfuckers still kicking around. Then he said Celine Dion, who has a disease that
she's
she
sick.
can barely walk.
Yeah.
And
That would have been a fun show.
And then he said Adele. Yeah.
They wheel her
What
out.
if they wheel her out like in the
Hey, you lip syncing anyway. Who
mask?
fucking cares?
Yeah, she's lip sync.
Can you stand there and say,
Like, it'd be great.
move your lips to it's all coming back to me now?
Well, who was there was he just recently passed, I think. But was it Jimmy Fallon or something like that?
Could have been.
That they had him performing, and he was like 101, and he couldn't even lip sync. He would just stand there holding a mic while the band played.
I don't know, but that sounds awful.
That sounds
There's
awful.
videos of it, and it was so sad.
It's sad.
So
yeah.
his last one was Adele, and there's a story there because she says
that's
they've
not a
asked.
horrible choice.
She said they've asked, and she says, "I'm a singer. I'm not a performer. I don't dance. What would I do?"
Love
Yeah.
Right?
Love that.
I mean, I get that. I think that's
she
an
can sing or she
interesting.
can sing her
That's
ass
an
off.
interesting conversation too.
Yeah.
Are you a musician, a singer, a rapper, or are you a performer?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you pull a name out of a hat. Right? It's like, oh, Beanie Siegel's going to do the Super Bowl. What? Maybe you'll learn how to dance.
But so the thing is like
But I think that's
performance. I think so. Performance like me, like I would sit and watch a Adele show happily,
Sure.
because to me the singing is the
I'd be,
performance.
I'd be rolling in the deep with it, man.
So a couple of years ago, I went to see George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah. Was the guy there with the tube in his mouth?
It was so sad.
Oh, they were not way past their prime.
They actually cut the mic on George Clinton.
Was he just fucked up,
He
or
was
is he
rambling.
I would say hello to Adele from the other side of the TV.
with Lionel Richie there? Yeah, and I'll take her in any of her forms she's had. Yeah. She's quite an attractive. I have a clip from. Are you guys familiar with the brilliant minds at the Newsmax network? Mm-mm. You see, if Fox News has lost its edge for you, if it's not as extreme, you can now watch a channel called Newsmax.
I don't like the tone that you're putting
which is
on
Listen here, cornbread hater. So I'm gonna play this. This is from. Yeah, let me get the audio going on this.
Yeah.
The vast, overwhelming majority of people in this country and around the world hated this show. Most had never heard any of these songs, had no clue who Kendrick Lamar even is. It was the worst halftime in history. It was horrific. Last night gave us the absolute pinnacle of American white guilt. That's what the NFL provided to the viewing audience. A league controlled by spineless men, all walking on eggshells, performing suicidal levels of corporate capitulation to the woke mob. And again, this was all signed and agreed to 2 months before this last election. Let's not just have a rapper, they said. Let's have an obscure rapper that nobody's ever heard of. Ooh, the woke Olympics happening at the NFL. And then they got in too deep. And then everything changed in November. They couldn't change back. The contract had been signed.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, and that is the thing with a lot of this is it, right along with people hating hip hop and hip hop culture.
That's just ignorant, though.
But hold on. Just let me finish this. It also showed how many people are just out of touch.
They are.
Yeah.
They're just out of touch.
People are, yeah. I've been saying,
You know, I had a similar
you just gotta
conversation.
wait for the last generation to pass
I had a
on
conversation
before
with
they move on.
my dad.
But I mean, if you weren't here, would you know who Kendrick was?
if you didn't,
I know of the name. Like, just because I don't know. Just because I don't know deeply enough about a lot of things, I've heard of many things. Just because I'm around, I've known who Kendrick Lamar was for a long time, and I probably would know his music if I hear it. Because I can't name him.
The thing that's interesting about him in this performance for me is he is a relatively young artist to do the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't other comparisons you can make, but like a lot of times a Super Bowl performance is like reserved for kind of legacy acts, right? Like Janet Jackson, fucking legacy act. Usher, fucking legacy act.
all right, but here's the problem. What's the legacy act that hasn't done the Super Bowl that would do it?
Yeah, no.
That's like
sure.
Goes back to like who do you get?
Metallica.
Dude, I brought them up this week too. Metallica.
You know, Metallica would be a great choice for the Super Bowl. But I just say that to say this is like this. What's interesting about this is I think if you were to say what doesn't work about this objectively, and I loved it, I think it's that he is still a relatively young artist from the eyes of what the Super Bowl performances tend to be.
Yeah, but like again,
Rihanna-
it's back to the
Rihanna's been around since the early 2000s.
It's back to the audience, though.
I
Like,
guess you're right.
It is like people. I don't know why people forget that. I think once that you get left behind, you forget that you're not part of the group anymore.
Yes, I
once you
agree.
leave, once you start being 36, 37, you forget, like, they don't give a shit about you.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not about you.
It's not
Think about
about
what an
you.
18 to 35-year-old one. That's what everybody cares about.
You know those Kirk Cameron Left Behind movies? That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Like,
That's
you
like-
have
hey, listen, I stopped paying attention to popular music for like 3 months one time, and I was fucking lost. I'd never caught up.
But the difference
never
is
caught
like being cognizant of it and being acceptant of it, and also
Yeah.
try to relate to it if you can, versus talk shit about it, which is what every fucking
I mean,
generation
and
is
look,
doing.
the thing about it is, like, not like us. I don't know streaming wise what it did or whatever, but it had to be
insane.
a huge song.
Huge record.
By the way, people say, why do they do that? They pay them like 10 grand to do this. And like the sets and everything, like The Weeknd spent $7 million to build his
So
set
there's
that
an
year.
example of a young
and my
artist.
dad said he hated that whole thing.
The Weeknd?
Yeah, he said the performer. He thought he didn't get it. He just didn't get it. It's not for him. And that's what, like, that shit I just fucking played. It's not for you. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Like,
do you go to the grocery store and buy shit you hate and eat it just to fucking bitch about it? It's the same. No, I understand. This is an event that people are going to sit and watch, and there's a ton of great videos on TikTok, and probably they'll make up to reels eventually of watching the Super Bowl with my grandparents, and like grandma's over there bopping a little bit, and one of them was like grandma's feeling the vibe, and then the old man was just sitting there like this thinking, this one's waiting on Johnny Cash.
I do want to say what only because people have hit me up and asked me what I think the performance is trying to say, and I want to give my opinion on that. And I do want to say first and foremost that art is open for interpretation, and I'm not here to say anybody's is wrong. I think that some have more merit than others, but to me, there is a simple message being sent. And then there is a one-layer meta message being sent.
What you got?
Okay, so the simple message is this is the funeral for the Drake beef. This is it. This is the end of the line
Game
for
over.
it. Game over. It ends with him saying game over. It starts with him putting on the armor and the cheat code. Then he goes and hits all the buttons on the board and then closes with game over. Right?
Yep.
Meanwhile, it's being played during a game, right? And it's in the field.
All right.
right?
So that's the surface.
That's the surface. That's the capital M message to it. I think there is one, and I think the thing with I just want to say in regard to the game also is that yes, it's the PlayStation board. It also kind of harkens back to the Squid Games,
Yep.
and then everybody's kind of wearing suits that are kind of Squid Game ish. A
little bit.
Once again, another game, just playing it on the game metaphor, right?
Yep.
So then I think the second thing that's there is I think it is. There's a 2-part combination with America, and it's about.
And I think that's how like the Uncle Sam was really leaning hard into that.
But I don't think it's my personal opinion is not what I'm reading in some of this stuff.
Okay.
Where it's like, yeah, you know, like he has a wristwatch on. That's the same time when Harriet Tubman started the Underground Railroad. I'm like, I don't know if that's true, dude. But like, but I think that the statement that is being made is that I think he knew how this was going to be received. And I think that, so you have a number of dichotomies, right? A couple years back, you have Kaepernick kneeling for the flag.
Right.
And then you have a whole bunch of black people forming and standing up for the flag.
Yeah.
Right. To have a hip hop performance, a true American art form, an art form that couldn't have been created anywhere else because the DNA for that shit is just not anywhere else in the world.
No matter how many Italian drill rappers say different.
Yes, which I also adore. And then in the same breath, you have the fact that he is an American artist by birth. Drake is a Canadian artist by birth. There's that ties into it too. And all of those things line up just for America to turn around the next morning and say, we still don't accept it. And I think that was a meta element built into it.
What'd you think about Serena Williams? I thought when I saw her, initially I'm like, that looks like Serena.
So this is a perfect example. I'm glad you brought that up. So I think that. So I read these
hang, give me 1 second. So I just wanted to say,
please.
I saw the girl dancing, and I didn't immediately it said that looks like Serena Williams, but that would have been so out of place in my mind right then, right? Because she's like, you know, doing the mom thing, is kind of retired from tennis, and But like, you know, she dated Drake, right? She's from Compton. Her fucking, I think her sister, brother, somebody got shot down.
Gang violence.
Yeah.
So I think that she's a great example to lean into my point a little bit. So she, so take Not Like Us, right? Some people have started extrapolating Not Like Us into making it a black-white thing.
Oh, God.
And saying that Drake is more of a white type of artist.
Come on.
And therefore, you're not like us. But it's not that.
It's a culture.
It's back to hip-hop culture.
Yeah.
And it's saying you're not like us. What did fucking Serena Williams do when she won I don't do sports, but I'm going to try, Joey. I'm going to make a guess, and I may not be right. The U.S. Open?
That is a tennis tournament,
Okay.
but probably Wimbledon is the one.
Could have been Wimbledon. Okay.
That's not American, is it?
It's not, but it's the biggest
when
tennis
she
tournament
won
in the world.
that, once again, a Compton citizen that won the big game, she crip walked and got in trouble for it. And now here's Kendrick winning the big game of hip hop, bringing her to the big game to crip walk.
And it's Drake's ex.
Yeah. So that part, I think obviously there's that element to it, but like she put up a post that I think was telling, where they contacted her and said, "Look, you crip walked at this fucking tournament. Do you want to crip walk at this fucking game?" That's the kind of shit we're looking for. And I think it is this I think it is asking the gray hairs, asking America to understand that hip hop culture is as American as apple pie now.
Yeah.
That's always been though.
Yes.
But that's because
now it's time to.
We grew up on it.
Why are we asking validation from this old fucks that are going to die?
No, it's not. It's not specifically
those old fucks
to them.
run the goddamn
it's to
country.
The entire nation.
Yeah.
Into the world. You know, and that's what I thought the beauty of it was. And like I said, it's my interpretation, and I may be reading it wrong, but the surface level one, that's also my interpretation. But I dare a motherfucker to argue me on that shit.
I don't know if I sent you this, but the funniest tweet I saw from this was, "I hate to be that 17-year-old girl consoling Drake right now." Age of consent, buddy.
Yeah.
Age of consent.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if I had any other notes from it. I mean, I think the Super Bowl halftime performance will be very divisive just going forward.
Yeah.
You know, Garth Brooks,
Which is kind of what we need.
Oh,
a
as
little bit
Chris
more
Gaines.
divisiveness, you know?
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, listen, you know, that's it's part of the strategy, right? I mean, but part of me, Bobby, you know, let's play it. Let me put on my tinfoil hat.
Please.
The aluminum foil that I was using earlier for something.
in the pocket.
In the pocket.
Is that,
It crumbled like
was
a
it on top of the Hamburger Helper?
That's where it was.
to save it.
This guy. But yeah, it was in the disposable fucking metal tray that I bought. Piggly Wiggly had them 2 for $5. So
Didn't
I went in.
recycle it either.
Yeah, don't get me on the recycling conspiracy. That's anyways.
Recycling is bullshit. We all know this. We should know this.
Well, yeah, I have to argue with my wife every time I throw away a water bottle. Like,
No, it's just extra trash.
are you going to take that little plastic ring off? Because you got to do that. Where was I? Jesus Christ! Aluminum foil hat. All right.
Yeah.
So Kendrick destroys Drake by all counts just on the rap battle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then he wins a Grammy.
5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
5 Grammys for this track, which is unheard of.
It's been a tough 2 weeks for Drake, I think.
Well, hang on.
He's out of the country.
Hang on. It's unheard of for a song that wasn't even on an album or a soundtrack to be even included in this stuff. Right? Have you ever thought? Can you ever think of a song that somebody just dropped
don't.
a single? I
don't
can't.
know. I don't know. Not off
Sticky over here.
So I agree with you. I
okay.
agree with you. However, the one caveat to that is that record, Not Like Us. So I don't know when GNX came out, right? But
November.
Yes, it came out in November, but I don't know when the Grammy cutoff was. So, like, I can see them, and I know they've said that this isn't the case, but
Time bound bias, right?
I don't believe what people say.
Okay, I've learned to understand that.
I don't think that, like, if let's say if the cutoff for the Grammys was November 10th and GNX came out November 12th and it had Not Like Us on it, Not Like Us wouldn't be considered necessarily for the Grammy.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things might have been to keep that single separate from any album. Because
Planning to try to win a Grammy with it?
No, once the success of it took off.
I got you.
To be like, oh, wait,
it's not on GNX.
Correct.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
wait,
was surprising.
we can't put this on the album because
For
then
that
it may not
reason.
be
I got
considered
you.
for the Grammy. So there's one element to it. The other element would be that when he released that record, it was just with the intent of it being a A minor, a diss record, and the diss record ended up becoming a massive hit, which I don't know was fully understood when they put it out.
I mean, he put out a music video like a month and a half after it came out.
Correct. To suggest that maybe he didn't understand.
Well,
how
the
big
way
that
they
record
were
was gonna
saying, he
be.
was like, "All right, I got another one here. I got another one here. These
Right.
are like these are."
and there's a theory that there's like 10 more that are out there.
That he was waiting on Drake
that he was
to
just
keep
like,
going.
you know, every time you put your Uno card, reverse.
Yep.
Reverse.
Yep.
Reverse.
There were a lot of great memes like when Drake's like, "All right, I got him. Let's go out to eat," and they're like, "Hold on, Kendrick dropped." How?
So it's not a very music industry plan to put out a single without an album accompanying.
Or to follow.
Right.
Right. We'll put out the lead single.
So,
and
so that's
album
one thing that kind of sets it apart.
Yeah.
But yes,
so, okay,
continue.
saying all that to say, and then, was he announced when was he announced for the Super Bowl? Was it around the same time
We
that
just
that came
heard
out?
it on Newsmax. It was 2 months before the election. That's
You know that trusted source news. No, but it was
on the news.
It was.
sir.
It was like September, October. Like I remember the
Okay.
initial thing with him sitting. It was like that machine that throws footballs.
Yeah.
And
the
he was-
football thrower.
Is that what it's called? And he was like, I think he was like putting the footballs into the machine, and it was like launching them, and that was like the initial announcement. If memory serves.
Okay. So, all right. So those two things have. I'm going to ask a side question. You'll see where I'm going here. What is Jay-Z's relationship with Drake like?
So it's tensioned, and it's tensioned.
Have they ever worked together?
They have. Drake is on Blueprint 3 on a song called "We Off That." That was the first time I think they worked together.
Okay.
but you know, obviously Jay owns Rock Nation. I think SZA's tied to Rock Nation. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that.
You see where I'm going here, right? Because Jay is also involved in the Grammys. Because look who won Artist of the Year for a country album.
So that to me, I think is bullshit.
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, that to me, I think is bullshit.
You know, her getting like ignored in the CMAs. A lot of that still has to do with the radio play.
Yeah,
right. Country stations weren't playing that fucking song.
Yeah, and Jay-Z is not the type of guy to make a speech a year earlier condemning the Grammys for all their bullshit just to give them millions of dollars for Beyonce to win a Grammy.
Well,
he's just not that guy.
I think he's in panic mode because I don't think they're together. I think she's.
I don't know. Maybe
she was apparently making out with her fucking bodyguard at an after party.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
but either way, I don't think he's the type of guy to give money to an organization that he doesn't believe in.
I'm not saying that is an organization to believe in. I was thinking this was a strategic attack because he wins all those Grammys for that diss song. He goes in the Super Bowl and plays that song to everybody in the fucking world. Yeah, if you hadn't heard it.
Right, but to attack who?
For Drake. Yeah.
So I think that there may be an element to that because it has to do with Wayne. Mm-hmm. Like Wayne and Jay-Z have this thing, this weird thing that's going on forever.
Which Wayne?
The little one,
not the big one.
Hey, hey, real quick. I'm glad I wasn't Wheezy up there.
Yeah.
After all this shit's come out, because I don't know if he could have handled the blowback.
He has the catalog. Mm-hmm. I don't think he has it together right now.
But you could bring out God and everybody because he's done music with everybody.
Yeah, for sure,
everybody. But saying that's obviously not going to happen. But I think it's just going to be interesting. We've talked about this for a whole fucking hour. So probably should move on. But I think it's going to be interesting to watch how this moves after the fact for Kendrick, and then what they next year looks like because of the blowback. Keep in mind, after Janet Jackson fiasco, they went to fucking they went to like a bunch of old rock, like Aerosmith, and Britney Spears came out, and everybody lost their mind about that because she was half dressed, and it was a bunch of old legacy rock acts, right?
Yeah,
did Maroon 5 do it one year?
They did do it one year, but I don't know when that was.
Yeah, that was sometime in between.
That's another huge pop act.
Yeah,
most of the time they use pop acts.
There's just not any huge pop acts, right? I mean, you bring a Korean boy band out there.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Right, Taylor Swift.
She's like the big pop act. Right?
I mean, I'm really surprised it wasn't Taylor Swift, but I think it's because she was so
the controversy
involved
that surrounds her, and I think people in the football crowd fucking hate her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was the biggest event that took place this last week, so it's probably
for some people.
Yes. well, I mean,
know the music's
objectively.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but just for the sake of conversation, it's the biggest objective thing that happened this past week. I don't give a fuck about the sports side of it. I love the music side of it. Even if I wasn't into the performance, and I happened to be into the performance, so lucky me. My whole family sat around and watched it. Like,
just waited for that pesky football game to take a break.
No, we actually waited for someone to text me to tell me it was to turn halftime. And then we scrambled to figure out how to get it on, and then we got it on, and we watched.
Your TV didn't need an update.
No, TV didn't need an update. But we all my kids love Kendrick. They're singing along to it.
Yeah, my kids, Charlie, and Mace were sitting there.
The
watching
baby's fucking dancing in the middle of the floor. I was like, man, this is great. This is probably how it felt. When I saw Michael perform.
I told my dad. I said, well, your grandsons both knew all the words and were singing along. He said, well, that's a shame. Whatever, Dad. You're a putz.
Yeah,
I love you, Dad. I know you're not listening.
I love you too.
I love you too, and Bobby loves you too. Farrell probably doesn't because you do make some mean waffles, but I'm sure they're not the ones he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I love all people.
There you go.
And I do like
Hamburger Helper. You do? I do not.
I think we should have a Hamburger Helper potluck one day, and everybody brings their best Hamburger Helper, and then I'll just have Kelly make a small ramekin of banana-less pudding for. Did you know that, Farrell? My wife makes this amazing fucking banana pudding, which I think we figured out a way to win one more category at Halloween, by the way.
Okay,
but she always makes Bobby and Cody, if he's here, their separate little ramekin of banana-less banana pudding.
So it's just pudding.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's fucking it's the way
I quite enjoy it.
Well, this guy, I tell you what.
Well, Bobby, I think anything developed specifically for you. you kind of have a soft place in your heart for it.
Probably true. I know. In a weird twist of fate, I think I should be the judge of the Hamburger Helper to pick whose is the best.
He's like, terrible, terrible, terrible.
Which is the least worst of these?
Yes.
Hamburger Helper cook-off. Hey, that's a show.
Yeah.
That's a show.
It is.
Joey.
I will watch
We
it.
could do it.
Joey
on the,
would watch it.
We could do it on the DMH network. We
Yeah.
could do a Hamburger Helper.
I'm down.
cook-off. We could record like 10 episodes.
I'm down.
Have people come in, bring their Hamburger Helper. Let them use the.
It's like,
Could
it's like
record
chili
it
cook-off.
all at once, and then that way we were all hamburger helpered out.
Yes.
that
Yes.
we get it out of our system.
It's like
right?
chili cook-off is a thing, and this is very adjacent.
Yeah.
Hamburger Helper is just chili with like what
Non-spicy chili.
some fucking noodles in it.
Well,
Or
it's a-
rice.
yeah, but you can.
I love chilies aren't spicy because like people can't handle it.
No, there's a lot of.
It's just meat and tomatoes or some shit like that, right? Is that what chili is?
There's a few more things.
Well, it depends on where you're at when you ask that question, sir. You get a lot of different answers, whether it needs beans in it or not. If it's just pork, it's pork and beef. If it's just beef.
You sound like an expert.
I bet if there was one here.
Listen, I've been around the chili wagon. Hey, some would say
I used to
it's
tour-
in my blood because I have cousins that are professional chili cook-off winners.
He used to tour the chili circuit.
That's right. That's right.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Me and Bobby's gonna get some beers and eat some chili and have a good old farting time.
Nope.
Hey, I'm gonna put him on blast. I learned that we were talking about drinking beer today, and I thought Bobby had said he had been getting into some Modelo's, and he's like, "No, the stuff gives me gas." So I've never drank
I've never
beer with
heard of
Bobby.
that.
I've known you
Yeah.
for almost 10 years, and I've never seen him drink a beer.
Yeah. So like I don't mind the taste of beer. Like I don't know, like I hate talking about beer because I'm not like a connoisseur by any means necessary. So I feel like whatever I choose, they're like, oh, of course, fucking noob. But like I liked my favorite beer I used to always look forward to was Oktoberfest, Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
That's good shit, man.
Yeah, I quite
I drink it
enjoyed
like-
it.
yeah.
But it just makes me a little farty McFarty pants, dude, and I start stinking the room up.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about being in a loud bar.
Well, you
except
know
when the
the-
music skips.
I'm a pretty courteous farter. Like I'm not a big public farter. Like But anyway, enough about me. Farrell, how was your nerd week? You were first here.
Oh shit. I don't. So I wasn't.
Now begins the regular episode.
Yeah. So I wasn't supposed to be here today,
That's true.
right? So I'm in a class that was canceled today due to the significant snowfall that we experienced.
Yes, school's also canceled for all of our children.
Like, what, 2 inches or something?
No, I doubt it was that much.
Well, some areas got more.
Yeah.
So this class, it is it's to be like a teacher in this very specific kind of realm, right? Like a
Yes.
so
On to some realms.
That's true.
The Hamburger Helper realm.
The chili
on Monday, 2 days ago, we're in the class and the whole thing has become ridiculous. Like there's so much bureaucracy involved in it that we've kind of lost sight of like the purpose of why there is a class in the first place. Right. So the class in the first place was, you have to have some sort of standard of like, if you're going to be a teacher of the subject, that you should know certain things, and there's got to be a standard to what you teach and how you test, and that'll make sense.
Train the trainer.
Right. But the problem is with most bureaucracy, and you can even, outside of this world, and you can go into, like I was thinking about Doge, is it
The coin.
No, the
No, the militia group.
yeah, the militia group that's shutting down parts of the government. Is that at some point
Thank you.
the machine cares more about itself continuing on than the purpose of why it was created in the first place.
Oh, that's just
So
how
have you
things
seen
are.
have you seen this movie franchise called The Terminator?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much what happens there.
So day one of this class, they are teaching us about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Ages and phases.
Hey,
if you
real
will.
quick, how many hours is this class total?
40.
It's 40. And how many of you have completed up to date?
16.
Okay.
Today would have been up to 24.
So now you have to go on Saturday probably.
24.
next
Today, what, 8
Tuesday.
hours
Oh,
today?
next Tuesday.
8-hour class.
8-hour class. So they're teaching us about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and mediums in which you teach.
Ages and phases in which you like when you're a baby, you just need like to be fed and to be sheltered and nurtured. And
and when you're 15,
so-
okay. Lube and a cell phone.
Basically, it's like, your first level is that you need food, shelter, and after that you need to have, community.
Yep.
And then as you get up to it, you get to this like self-actualization. It's not really for fucking education. No. Right? It's like you as a person in general. So
Right.
like why this is happening in an instructor level class is ridiculous. So it's all lecture at this point. All lecture. And it's fucking terrible. And they put a slide up where they're saying, hey, here's all the mediums that we talked about, like hands-on, multimedia, discussion group. And it's all of the percentages that they expect students to retain from it. In order for them to say,
I know what it is.
right, like,
This is going.
this is how we should be teaching our classes is the stuff that people retain stuff from. And at the very bottom of the fucking list says lecture 5%.
Yep. Nobody wants that.
So I
Nobody
raised
wants
my hand at hour 7 in a row of fucking lecture. And I said, hey, if you are teaching this, why are all of the classes that you give on all these subjects 95% lecture? And it threw them for a loop.
Like, it's crazy. People don't even think about this.
Based on the information they provided you on the first day of
They're
the
saying
class.
lecture is terrible.
We're going to lecture
Now sit here for 40 hours
while we lecture you
while
about
we
it.
lecture you.
And so is there any breakout of, okay, you and these 3 guys go do this exercise and practice this thing, or is
I mean,
it all just...
It's 5%.
It's mostly
according to the
just talking
spread,
at you.
I bet you that on hand was very high up there, or like,
Oh, it's like 70 or 80%.
But so why are they doing the lecture?
They
Did they
are
get
dumb.
So,
Because that's-
like what I was saying,
'cause they always have.
it's how they justify their existence,
I agree.
right? It's what I was saying about the machine just perpetuates itself, right? Like to the hammer, everything looks like a nail or nail-esque, right?
Yeah,
It's just varying degrees of, can I hit this?
yeah.
So for them, if they got rid of lecture, then we wouldn't fucking need them for stuff. So their response was, well, we gave you this textbook, the first thing of class. And I said, okay. They said, well, if we would have just given you the textbook and told you to go home and read it and then come in a couple of days and take a test, like, would that have been what you wanted?
Yes.
And I said, well, I mean, I think there were a couple other mediums that you had up on the slide that would have been, beneficial. They said, well,
Were people agreeing with you in the room at this point? Okay.
Of
so,
course.
so then they said,
No one wants to sit for 8 hours and listen.
a couple hours ago, we told you that the test is actually going to include information that's in the captions below the pictures. If there was no instructor, you wouldn't have known that. And I said, you could have just
Give the handout.
So
Just
you're
give me the
emailed
PowerPoint.
me.
So you're saying this whole class could have been an email?
Right. So then right after this, they start talking about, so this is, like I said, hour 7 of day 1. They go, hey, by the way, looks like inclement weather on Wednesday. We may have to cancel class. And I said, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift it to the first available work day of the next week. And I'm like, hold on, like I've made accommodations, like work has sent me there, right? But it's like I have a production schedule, like I'm doing things, like I can't just into perpetuity say, well, when I'm finished my 40-hour class, I'll come back to work.
Right.
So he says, and I said, well, is there a virtual or an asynchronous option here? Like, what do we do? We're sitting through lecture. Like, you can't just this one time, allow
Dial
us
in,
to
do
fucking
it, yeah.
dial in. We're not set up for that.
You don't have a fucking laptop with a camera?
So it's all just to perpetuate the system that justifies their existence, and they're not going to do anything.
And their paycheck.
So what you're saying is there's a space for someone to start a consulting firm for training in your industry to teach people. But I'll be honest with you. Someone
Except for the politics that are associated.
Someone recently. So I'll be honest with you. The training I get a lot of the time is sitting in front of Mike. We don't do a lot of in person, but a Zoom call with these people that don't know what business we're in. They've hired some company to do this. And think about this and think about it's like there's nothing I can glean out of here. It's like, what, you might as well just have a bunch of square holes here in the round pegs and telling me to make them fit, right? I mean, I'll make them fit. I'll go to the shop and make them fit. But like the point of it is what, I often say after the survey is like, why did you waste? I mean, they're long for us. It's like 3 hours to sit there in front of a screen. It's fucking tedious. And they want us to have our cameras on. Nobody has their camera on.
Right.
Because we're all fucking working or playing on our phones or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the things I remember learning the most from is the tactical stuff, right? Absolutely. Getting my hands on it. Like, I went last year and took an engine rebuild class. We tore an engine all the way down the block and then had to put it back together and keep up with everything as a team. It was a freaking great exercise. I've retained a ton of information about that. But if this has been even PowerPoint slides about combustion chambers and things of that nature, I've gone one in 1 year and out the other. So.
And that was like a 3D interactive program where you can do it. Then
or something like that, right?
Yeah. Someone could build that. There could be a job.
So, but it's frustrating, and I equate that to lots of other things in our
life,
society now.
In just general,
right? So, like, when Elon's done finding the obvious, because we can all agree that there's obvious waste.
Are you saying we don't need to spend $3.2 million to keep the metric system out of America? That's the most ridiculous one.
I would think that's like a drop in a bucket taken from a much larger vessel. 3.2 million is kind of like a.
Oh, I know, that's what I'm saying, but still, that's more money than I would imagine we as a table making a year.
Yeah, more than I got in my pocket.
That's right.
But so, like,
what's the compound interest on that?
What happens when they find all of it? Does like that division go away, or do they just start
making new bullshit things to do?
No. Do they just start like they have to?
I think the back part of that is you have to. There are some services that you are in these, like when they were going to cut off funding or whatever, and they decided not to. Like that, people would have died.
No.
Like
I don't want to get into the politics of like what.
Well, I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about the reality of it.
No. But I'm just saying, like, when they find everything that they think needs to be removed.
Yeah.
In order to justify their existence, will they just
remove themselves?
Remove some things, even though they don't agree that it's waste and abuse, just to justify their existence.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying.
I mean, the right thing to do is to remove themselves. Like, our job's done here. We're dissolved now.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Right. So they're just going to start going like, well, we got to cut something. So like, let's take the least hurtful thing out of here. And like every day we got to cut a little bit more. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
So all that stuff is crazy to me.
Yep.
So last week, I had a whole bunch of notes on the expand.
Yes, and I listened last week.
Oh, you did
I listened last week. I did it anonymously. You guys, I'm going to try to call in a joke every week when I'm out. Notes. We're
I accidentally deleted them.
Oh no!
Okay. Well,
what a terrible day for me.
I'll tell you,
Bobby,
Farrell, what I started doing. I used to just delete my notes every week. I'm keeping them now.
Yeah,
I can go back. I just started doing it this year, so I can go back mainly to say, like, when we do, like, what's your favorite movie of the year? I'm like, oh, I don't remember what I watched.
Right.
What were the top movies of the
So
year?
you heard my favorite quote?
What was it?
Holden, don't put your dick in it. It's fucked enough already.
My favorite one, and I don't know if you've gotten here yet, is everybody gets a pony and a blowjob.
Yes.
It's all Avra Sorala.
So I am
She's
on
great.
season 5, episode 1.
Oh, you're about to go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
With Amos.
So
Dude, it's
stuff that happened in season 4, Ashford.
Oh, fucking love Clay's Ashford, man. It's such a great character.
But it was sad when he died.
Oh, man. Well, keep watching.
Yeah,
He comes back, perhaps.
Well, he is the ghost knife. So no, he doesn't come back. But
then his name changes to Risen from the Ashford.
But
Phoenixford.
I will just say him dying makes things very interesting.
I would give you a hump.
Yeah, and so like I really appreciated the what was perceived as friction at first with drummer, and then it turned into that like he's actually helping her grow as a leader.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, what did you think about Illis?
I'm the illest.
We need to expand this podcast with just Bobby's commentary. We'll go through the whole thing.
Terrible at names.
Or Illis is the planet they went to. Because that obviously is a different experience. I would tell you that is. I like season 4 a lot, but some of that stuff on the planet is just very tedious.
So
hard to
the
get
stuff. I don't understand why everything's underground. Like
for the artifacts and stuff.
Yeah, and just like this, like the whole thing of like these huge like
the monoliths,
subterranean structures of like great expanses. Like it didn't make sense to me.
Things. Well, am I here? Did I watch it? I watched it when they were on the planet and they found the machineries and they go in.
For a minute, I thought you were just being existential.
And then Miller shows up.
I say that every night.
Which I have to say, I watch him back.
Right,
I absolutely love his character. Like
Jane, what's his face?
It's dude from Hung.
Dude from Punisher.
He was in that show called Hung.
So the guy with a huge dick.
Thomas Jane.
That's what the show's about, right?
Yeah, yeah. But he played the Punisher also.
But isn't things just end up underground because of sediments? Just like how, like is
that what you're saying, or like
something's been around long enough?
I'm not sure that it was sediment
because like something's been around long enough, it ends up.
Well, the other thing you have to think
like
about
pyramids
is
and whatever.
We don't know what whatever the beings were that were doing that. Who knows? Like because remember he comes back up and he's like 500 miles away from where he went in. Right. Remember that? So who knows? But that to me is like that drags the whole getting the blinded thing, the slugs. It takes a bit to get through.
And the blinded thing.
Yeah.
Like she's a pretty shitty doctor for being in the fucking future and not realizing that it was just a medication that
he had on what do you call it? Cancer meds. He has to take cancer meds, and that's what.
Like you would
that's
think
like right where around I stopped. I think
it'd be like the first thing you check. Like, hey, how are you different? Like, what's your medical history? And he's like, oh, like I'm taking cancer medication. And like, oh, there it is.
Well, I don't know. I understand what you definitely are saying, but season 5, you're in for a treat. I'd say season 5, I think season 2 and 3 and 5 are my favorite seasons.
So
overall,
unfortunately with this class, I lose a lot of time to consume media.
I just watch it anyways. It isn't like you're gonna.
Are you
only remembering 5% of it?
Put my phone down.
Do you have a laptop there? No. We used to do that in pharmacy school. We had a laptop up instead of having to slide up. We just have an earbud and watch TV.
Behind us.
Are you serious?
This sounds like.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
You had to have your hands behind you?
Oh, are you doing wall sits the whole time?
No, sitting there.
Is there any anal? Is there any anal?
I checked.
No anal?
All anal.
All anal. Okay.
Mental anal.
What's the name of this course?
What time to start?
No, so go ahead.
No, so I picked my phone up to check a text message. Right? And I responded to it. It was a work-related one. And he was like, I'd appreciate it if you put your phone down. Like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Out of
I appreciate you don't treat me like a fucking 8-year-old because I'm in my fucking 30s.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's like, I'm sorry that these widgets we sell are so fucking important to the world that I had to answer a text.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm sorry. I had an important work text message that I had to send.
I had an instructor zap out on me once in a similar organization where somebody had, you're supposed to have your phone silenced, which is a fair request.
Yes.
And somebody didn't, big bro, surprisingly. But his phone went off in the middle of this class, and it was his phone.
Yeah.
And it went, he had like whatever ringtone he had for it was, ah, and I just went, yes, God. and to get a laugh out of it, and he lost his shit on me. I don't know if it was like a religious line that I overstepped with him, or if he thought it was,
or you were calling him out for violating his own rule.
Well, that's what you were doing.
Or if he thought it was but he wasn't his class. He wasn't teaching it.
Oh,
he was just another student.
Oh, well,
but I don't know if he thought it was my phone, or if I overstepped a religious boundary with him. But this dude chewed my ass out in front of everybody. And I was like, sorry. I just said sorry.
But it's like, not to get back into that class thing, but it's it's so fucking frustrating that as adults, like these people can't understand that I'm going to have to do some things during the workday that I'm sorry your fucking class. This is your whole world is this kind of stuff.
You get break. Are they giving you a break every couple hours, 15, 20 minutes?
It's like 10 minutes every 90 minutes or something.
Okay.
But still, you're asking someone to take 8 hours of their day to not do anything else, which is just ridiculous in general.
I'll give credit to like the structure of my company, and we have these things, and we're all sitting in a classroom for whatever reason. You know, the instructors are like, "Hey, I know we're all busy. We're going to get calls. If you don't mind, if it's important, just step out for a second.
Yeah,
take the call."
And I had to step out to take a phone call. I didn't think that responding to a text message for 8 seconds.
So go outside and respond to your text message.
And there's another side to it where you're working for me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not working for you.
Right.
You're working for me.
You exist because I exist.
Correct.
Yeah.
I paid you for a service. If I want to sit here and do cartwheels, it's my fucking
Matter of
prerogative.
fact,
And then I just fail the test.
Matter
And
of
I go,
fact,
"Ah, I
I'm
should've
going to
paid
watch
attention."
the best sci-fi show of the past 20 years on my phone while you
or a
ramble on.
sci-fi show.
I don't.
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna strap you down one day, man. I'm gonna put you. I'm gonna
with this Marilyn Manson thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do you like they did those
Clockwork Orange?
people in Lost. Make you get through it. But yeah, season 5 is
The last
man.
season, right?
There's some shit. We've
6.
Oh, that's 6. Okay.
So you've met Marco. You've met
Yeah.
Marco and Gnarls.
And I'm halfway through episode 1, but it started to get really good, and I was, doing other things, and I was like, hold on, I'm gonna
pay attention.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
What do you think about Bobby's espionage work?
I mean,
Do you think she's hot? Frankie, the plays Bobby.
I've been trying this whole segment.
no,
You don't think so?
and I find her character hard to believe.
Well, you never met anybody from Mars before, so that's probably why.
Yeah, but she's not really from Mars either.
Well, she's from New
Well,
Zealand. You
men are
probably
from
never.
Mars.
I mean, the DNA is from Earth.
You're right, but you never met anybody from New Zealand either. I bet
That's the only thing about the
She's from New
show
Zealand.
that's kind of weird to me is like they want to say they're Martians, but they're just resettled.
Oh, it's cultural appropriation.
Oh, dude, I've never thought about. I'm going to the Facebook group right after this to talk about is this a cultural?
Let me guess. They discovered it.
Actually, in the lore, there was a war where they separated into their own.
But so like I get the Belters being different because they were born
Baratna.
in 0G, so they're physically different because they haven't experienced.
In the book,
gravity.
they're all like 7 feet tall. They're
Right.
like the one she hangs on the wall, like at the beginning. Yeah, that's.
But they
they're
also
all
go weak because they have no gravity.
Right, like they can't go to the planets. Like
Yeah,
Naomi had the
take the
problem.
drugs
The
and-
drugs didn't
yeah.
take.
But,
But
like-
then somehow all those motherfuckers that were on that planet, that like
Didn't have a
yeah,
problem.
well, they said a lot of people had to go back up. But
Yeah.
who knows? All right, we're killing Bobby.
Oh, no, sorry. What else you got?
I think we can say that's it.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. One other thing.
Yes.
Did you look into the Spotify?
Yes, it's in my notes.
Okay.
It's in my notes.
Then I
don't have much in my notes, so I'm trying to hold on to every little bit I got.
I will.
Pass the mic.
Oh, me?
Joey?
I still hate it here. Not here. Here in this room, I love it here.
Okay.
But I just hate it here in general.
You're always welcome to spend a little bit more time here if you'd like to. Throw that out again.
It's just, you know how everyone wants a pill to make them smarter?
I can sit you down. We'll go through Kendrick's catalog song by song.
And then you can break it down to me line by line, the interpretations.
Yeah.
You see, when he says 2, this is what it means. The number 2,
But it also means as well.
and it also means
and directional.
he's yes. He wants you to go to the second track.
Oh, it's like a code. It's like a cheat code.
Sure.
It also was the jail cell where this political prisoner was kept. It's like the exact number.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, everyone wants a pill to make them smarter. Like, we have movies on this with Batman.
Yeah, Limitless.
What about if you
sign
want
me
one
up.
to make you number?
I want one. Well, not number. You have pills for those too. Just take a bunch of antidepressants. You get
Yeah.
much number. I've been there. Didn't like it. I just want one that makes me like dumber. I'm not a genius by any means. Right? I'm
There's a drug for that.
not. But I know I'm like a slightly probably on the higher end of average,
Bro,
or
you
maybe
definitely
slightly
are.
above average.
You yes.
It's
Have
a
you tried?
fucking curse.
Have you tried 3-6 Mafia?
Weed, blow, pills.
Great googly moogly, that thing is juicy.
Hey, listen. To be fair,
I was going to be.
to be
reading
fair,
lyrics.
that is
Oh yeah, that's a new segment.
that is a hypnotized track, but it's Project Pat.
Yes.
Don't-
No,
hey.
I love.
You would have corrected me, so I'm
You're
just
right.
correcting
You're
you.
right. I love a lot of their music. I just do think it makes you dumber.
Dipset.
Oh, same. Same.
Give me a Cameron. Come on, give me a track.
You know,
In the voice.
the famous one is "They Mad My Car Like an Elephant." The trunk in the front.
You didn't say it though.
Oh, here, I can do my impersonation.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. I went to Pizza for a piece of pizza. Who stabbed me in the back? Little Caesar.
Okay, maybe that would be a good Bobby Boogie Bop. What are the most ignorant rap songs? Like the one where Warren G misspells the word next, and like how many people were in the room when you did this?
Here's another one of my favorites.
Everyone thought it was right.
This is a real one. I get the boosters boosting. I get computers puting.
He wrote that down, didn't he?
Probably.
He's like, bro, this is gonna be fire, bro.
He's like,
I'm gonna get a pink fur coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want something to just to bring me down some. And
I think there's a movie about this too.
is there? It's like
Oh, Idiocracy.
they don't. I don't think they had
No,
pills
they
for that.
don't.
I think they just got dumber. It's like
they bred it out of us.
I really think the ignorance is bliss thing, man. I just see it more and more and more. That like if
No, you're-
like I'm mad at all these people who are not self-aware, like your teachers and your whole organization, and this guy on Next Fox, whatever the fuck.
Next Fox.
That's also a question. Like I know the audience.
Put some spec on that.
Yeah, listen, it's
Put
here.
it up
It's
on that screen.
It's hearing aid.
This is why we can't be on screen.
It's hearing aid and boner pill commercials. That's all.
But it's like that guy though. That guy, does he believe in what he's saying, or is he just saying shit knowing that
Getting
it's
a-
wrong?
getting a paycheck.
Because that makes him a fucking villain, like a huge fucking villain.
I'm sure.
right?
I'm sure there's a script he's reading
Like
off
he
Well, I'm
like
sure they
Bobby
underst-
was saying how some people need to be assaulted. That guy, if he's just saying that shit just to say that shit, he should be assaulted.
of. They know their audience, man. I'll be honest with you.
that's not-
I click on there every once in a while just to kind of get the vibe.
I think sometimes,
But it's not the audience fault at that point. If the audience really believe in that dumb shit, they just fucking dumb. It's fine. But if you're perpetuating that shit.
Mason's girlfriend's parents, they're older than me. I think they're probably in their 60s.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
They have that on all day. That channel stays on all
wow.
day long.
But that's like again that's not the audience. Like they're not wrong because they think they're right. It's that guy. The guy.
Or it could be, or the person above them, right?
Yeah, but that guy doesn't have to do that.
No, for sure.
or
But
the-
I
or
mean,
the
everybody's like you know, people do far worse for money to feed their family.
Right, but there's a choice. Hey,
listen.
yes, they do, but they're,
You know
they're also
who-
wrong.
The real
No, yeah,
villain
for
here.
sure. I'm
the
not saying
real
it's right.
villain-
I'm saying it's understandable.
The real villain is the Jitterbug phone company that runs ads during that shit.
Jitterbug.
You never heard of
Like,
the old people
it's like
phone?
cricket, but like a different bug.
It's like big buttons,
It's like a
no
big
screen.
button. It used to.
Like I'm falling, I can't get up.
They're those.
Yeah.
They're the really cheap Samsung A models.
Same Target demo.
Oh, it's like when you give kids the fake phones with the giant buttons, and you give those to the
That's
old
how.
people.
That's literally how.
mean,
that's
that's
how
how
they
this-
came to business. Now it's smartphones. As
Circle
people
of
have
life.
gotten more. You know, their hands weren't
There's
sore
like
from
less
sewing all
apps
day or whatever they
available
did.
for it. They're locked so that you can't do certain things.
Yeah.
So-
my mother-in-law needs one because both her phones have gotten hacked.
So I think I'd just be much fucking happier if I was dumber and I didn't think deeply. If I can just like,
Lobotomy.
yeah, well, I think that's not that dumb. Not that
Okay.
dumb. Like
Alcohol?
just,
You don't
just
wanna- you
bring
don't
me
wanna
down like.
slobber?
I think you're smarter than me, and I'm a pretty happy guy. Maybe there's some truth to what you're saying.
I think there is like if you can just watch something, anything, or observe something, but not really observe it, all because it glazes over you, and you don't fucking think about the next step and then the next 10 steps, which makes you fucking angry at the world. I would be happier, right? If you just see some shit, I can't do that all the time anymore because of my job, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
used to. I think I was definitely happier when I was doing that.
It'd
Or
be
maybe
weird if you were more upset.
some people are. I mean, I've had bad experiences on that a couple of times.
You have something to look forward to when you get off work.
Where I remember there was one time when and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Look, just make sure I'm breathing still." It was bad.
But there's also
I was like, "Am I breathing?
so my approach is
Is that breathing? Am I getting oxygen? Hey, make sure my chest keeps going up and down." That was nuts. So I was like only 22 or whatever.
Yeah,
at
but
that
that's the
point.
thing. With age, I think comes understanding of that sort of thing. Like, okay, like I'm having a physiological response,
Right.
But I think that like for me anyway, and don't get me wrong, like I find myself getting emotionally compromised from time to time as well.
I am all the time is a problem.
But I think that like I have such an appreciation for the chaos. You know, like I have such an appreciation for the show. You know, like to me, it's like the world is my stage in some ways.
Sim City.
You know, and like so like any side act, like I can just like tune in. I can take it at very little value.
like.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong for not, or I'm right. I'm not saying anything about
this
that.
is. I don't think it's a right or wrong thing. Is I wish I didn't see it. Because some people just don't see it. You would have to really explain to them, and then they'd be like, "Oh, like." For me, what I just look at immediately recognizes. Some people just won't.
So to me, like that guy, right? The guy from Newsmax.
Yep, Newsmax.
Yep.
Like
There's no Hamburger Helper commercials.
He's not turning a tide of anyone.
No,
Like,
this is
combined
bias.
effort.
This is just confirmation.
Yeah, he's just confirming what other people either already feel or want to feel.
Right. But I mean, it's not him.
No, I'm using it as an example.
Right. But like, it's just things like that everywhere, all the time. Almost every human I interact with, everything.
How many people do you know in life about anything that are open-minded to hear an idea?
It was more surface level than it. People are just sucks. Again, maybe because.
Do you consider yourself to be an open-minded person?
No, not at all.
So, I mean, how can you get mad at other people?
I'm mad at myself.
For what?
For not being able to live up to my own ideals.
How so?
Like, to be a better person.
In what regard, though? Give me something.
I'm just not a good person.
I'm not
a bad person. I'm not saying I'm a bad person, but like
that's a separate thing from being upset about whether or not you think you're a good person, bad person, or neutral person. That's a separate thing from being upset by other people's stuff.
because like I just don't like. I understand the world exists in a gray spectrum mostly, but like. I don't know why I can't let go when people don't see that they're wrong. There's something wrong with me about that. Like that's why I have a real hard time with customer service. It's because like not only do I need you to like the situation to resolve, I need you to know that you are wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and when they don't know that
blow
you're
your
wrong,
brain out.
but
doing that,
exactly,
all you got. Listen,
exactly.
in customer
The way
service, you just
like the way
get
people
them out of your
act are
fucking
just
face.
fucked up.
Whatever you need to do to get
I
them
think
out of your
respectfully,
face.
I think in some ways, like, and not to say that you're a unique thing. I think that I fall victim to it in my own regard with my own criticisms and bullshit.
Yeah.
But I think that like you're just as guilty.
I am.
Right. So it's like I think
Like I said, I'm not the Thanos where I think I'm better than people. I'm not better than anybody.
but you want to be dumber.
Yeah, so I don't see it.
Right. So you're smarter. So you are elevating yourself.
Yes,
right?
in that respect, yes.
You know,
there's a Michael Jackson song about this.
Is there?
Yeah, I want to make a change. Bobby can nail this one.
But
For once in my life.
But I do those things that bother.
That part at the end, that shit is fucking out of here.
Just got to get it out. Like I try to be courteous to people in most senses. Like in any interaction I have with other humans, I do what I think people should do, which is like with respect and with courtesy and with considerate, with consideration.
Sure.
But I find that that's not how the average person does not operate that way. The average person operates in such a way that they're the center of their own universe.
You're right.
And it bothers the shit out of me.
people
I'm
don't
like,
look-
I just want to say, you're not that fucking important, my guy. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like you're talking to someone specific.
all of you and all of me. I don't know. I'm just getting angry at this point. I'm going to talk about my nerd week.
Let's do that.
Post Malone Oreos are amazing.
Bro, I tried them too.
I was worried.
I got them hand delivered by Phil, so they had a special touch. on them.
I bet
I ate.
his penis. Just kidding. I don't know
Why did you do that?
Second
because that's how
my kids ate those.
because that's how much he loves Oreos.
Fair.
I've never met a dude that wants to. He knows it's coming out. Like these cinnamon cookie Oreos get ready to drop.
like Baby D. New snack's coming out.
You know, like he
They
knows.
got a twinkle with glitter in it.
He's the only person
shoots
I
all in your
know
mouth.
that likes Oreos more than me because I fucking love Oreos.
Hey,
I
shout
live off
out-
of Oreos.
And Paul C is a big Oreo fan.
Yes.
Is Oreo your favorite grocery store cookie?
That is mine.
It's not mine.
Of course not.
So what?
I like them. I like Oreos.
I always
What's
get
your
them.
favorite then?
I think Chips Ahoy Chewy.
Those are good.
Is it
but
just because
some-
that's word chewy? In
some-
it?
I
You
like chewy. But no, I like chewy
you want
cookies
me to-
over crunchy.
You want me to ruin something for Bobby? They kind of taste like the consistency of them is kind of like Play-Doh.
That's not untrue.
Okay,
That's
fair.
not
But
untrue.
some of us ate Play-Dohs as a child.
Well, we did. It's salty and delicious.
Me and Bobby raised our hands.
How come you aren't dumber? Dude?
Mine didn't have lead in it.
Could you imagine? You would have been the limitless pill if you had.
just because I rolled mine over my walls first. And do a little snake and then
So that's use a little pasta maker and made your own little snack time.
I had a McDonald's Play-Doh machine that you make with a different colored Play-Dohs and you make burgers, and then I ate it and then I was very disappointed. It didn't taste like McDonald's.
They were tasty though.
I never knew that.
I mean,
Salty.
So I understand. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't at
my
McDonald's.
gosh, we're so off track.
But like I understand now why they put labels on things for kids not to eat them, because kids will fucking eat anything. Because I ate Play-Doh, expecting it to be McDonald's.
And kids always follow the rules.
Yeah.
That's the one thing they got going for them.
But like I was worried because I'm not much fan of salted sweets. When there's like salted caramel or salted chocolate, I'm like just give me caramel or chocolate without
Yeah,
the
you
salt.
seem salty enough.
I am plenty salty. I am made of salt.
There was a good salty commercial in the Super Bowl.
But they're not like overtly salty. There was a hint of salt, and there was like 5 different ingredients, and I was like, "That's a lot of shit in there," but they all went perfectly together.
They're great.
And I'm like, "This." I like Post Malone. Even I don't know much about his music, but I know he's a big nerd and he's a nice guy and he likes magic, and now he has good cookies, good Oreos.
So I'll say that is my favorite non-regular Oreo. Actually, the dark chocolate ones hit pretty hard, but
the dark chocolate one can be chemically sometimes.
He's a guy that could be a Super Bowl lineup.
he could be because he could hit all the notes.
Yep.
Literally.
The Post Malorios, as I call them.
Kanye could do it if he didn't have a Twitter account.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
I think he can do it. I think people will just accept him because like people know he's crazy anyway.
Yeah, because he goes too far. But he would just never get the gig.
Yeah, he would fuck it up somewhere along the line.
I heard he's got a pretty popular shirt line.
We're getting there. It's in my notes.
So Post Malorios and S'morios are neck and neck for me.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Those are the best Oreos.
There's a Weez brand ice cream
Okay.
Uh-oh.
called Cookies and Cream and S'mores. And let me tell you something. Not bad.
So
I'm surprised from you because you kind of bougie with especially ice cream.
I
but-
believe the fine people at Turkey Creek make one that's very similar.
Do they?
That is, yeah. They had 2 for $5 on the tubs the other day, so I went in.
So it's like Neapolitan but fancy.
I'm a fan of it. It's like cookies and cream ice cream with marshmallow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the marshmallow is like strands. It's not like
It's
cubes.
not a cube. Yeah, I don't like the like
Same.
pieces of
Same.
marshmallow.
When they
Same.
like blend it in, yeah, that's
Same.
good shit.
We all. Well, do you like what we're putting down? Do you like these ice creams and cookies?
I'm lactose intolerant.
Almost.
We can't agree on
almost did it.
everything
What the
at this
fuck?
table.
No,
We
but
can't.
I think it's fine, and I do.
I think that's
Treat
patronizing.
myself
That's
to
fine.
some stomach pains every once in a while.
Yeah.
We'll just have Bobby drink beer those
I
days.
can't.
Pretty good.
Like- I can't.
Lecture intolerant too. You know what I mean?
Well, so what you're saying is you should drink a whole gallon of milk and go in that class and just like let what happens
Yes,
happen.
do it.
Except for I
Do
would
it.
shit all over the place.
Yeah, when
Did I stutter?
when I get together and drink my beers, and you had to drink like a whole quart of milk.
Buttermilk or sweet acidophilus.
I mean, at least they make fucking pills for that.
Yeah.
I've never taken one. I just suffer. Because that, to me, that's the meaning of life.
It's to find meaning within the suffering.
No, it's just to suffer.
It's just a suffering.
It's a DMX quote.
Is this the lactose suffrage? Are you a suffragette? A lactose suffragette?
Survivor.
I didn't think that it voted.
Is there a ribbon I'm supposed to wear in my jacket for lactose intolerance? You're such an ass.
Oh God!
Yeah,
me
that's
like
why I wristband
10
for it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what color that would be. Like
Right here.
a Milky White,
Yeah.
probably.
That's so funny.
So yeah, those Oreos slap for sure.
You know which Oreos didn't slap? Those Coca-Cola.
No.
Fizzy.
No,
Trash.
no, they
Trash.
did
were-
that job.
they
but
were good
it
to
was
try,
not-
like,
but
one.
no one asked for that job.
They were
Like
terrible.
they were good to try one just to say, oh, well,
Yeah.
it kind of tastes
Actually,
like soda.
Just
And
for
I-
having this discussion.
Yeah.
I would have preferred not to have tried it.
Fair enough.
It's one of those weird things when it is exactly what it's supposed to be and it's not good.
Yeah.
But I had Post Malorios. I had 3 packs in one day.
Bro.
Like
It's not
full-
good.
Like full,
3 full packs in
Oh, wow.
one day.
not like the little mini.
No, with a gallon of milk, the whole thing
the full-
in one day.
yeah, so that's-
I'm a glutton. I cannot.
like
I cannot have things at home.
It's like 100 Oreos.
That's
bro.
a lot.
Yeah, I can't.
That's
That's
awesome.
my thing to my my fitness journey, or is to not have it in my pantry.
That may be the most impressive food thing you've ever told me.
I mean, I've had 3 packs of Oreos before, but yeah, it's not. But it's a good thing I'm so fucking lazy that I won't go out and buy my own cookies from across the street. Otherwise,
It's probably good.
Could you imagine
Don't look up Instacart.
how many Oreos you could buy? Like if you had like an
Bro.
entire house full of Oreos. Like, what
Listen,
would you
he's
put?
gonna. Don't do
Do you-
that.
do you know
have
what-
you
you
ever
know what
seen
happened?
Have you ever seen the end of the Dodgeball movie? The after credits scene.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
I mean, I was a huge kid, but like Krista I like Post Malone and like Oreos, and she found them and she got me 3 packs. She's like, I got you 3 packs. I'm like, why do you buy 3 packs?
Like, oh great, 1 day's worth.
Well, like I was like, 1 pack would be nice so I can try them because like we're like on cutting right now. But she was like, yeah, these are good until June. So I figured, if I buy 3 packs and they run out, you will still have some later. And I'm like, I'm gonna eat these in 1 day.
So this is my bulk.
Yeah, that was supposed to last me a few months.
Right?
That was supposed to last me a few
Right.
months.
So if you buy
Few hours.
Joey 1 pack of Oreos, it's going to last a day. If you buy him 12 packs of Oreos,
It's gonna last one day if I
last
like
one
it.
day. Yeah.
But like 1 package is 1 serving to me in my entire. I don't care if it's family size. Look,
Bro, I'm
does
not
the family
judging.
size
I'm
bag
not
of chips
judging.
come with a little zipper lock thing?
No.
You open it. You're supposed to
We're
fucking
supposed
finish
to bring
it.
the family.
I am my family. I have a family of 2 and a cat.
There you go.
What else? What else do we have?
I finished. Twilight Zone season 2 much better than season 1.
Well, good.
But then they canceled it. There was no season 3. But I liked it much better.
So there's a bunch of really old episodes that are actually pretty fucking. They're pretty fucking wild.
They're good. They're on there. It was recommended to me next. But like, no, season 2 was very good. I liked every episode. It was just overall better. But I don't know why they don't have any more. So yeah, people who would like that kind of thing should watch that. And after that, we started What We Do in Shadows. Oh, it's fucking hilarious. I was
love
iffy.
Matt Berry.
I was iffy at first. The first episode, I'm like, this is corny. Is it funny? I can't tell. But I'll give the old Bobby three tries, 3 episodes, and 3 episodes, and it was just fucking endearing. And
Yeah.
like, I was laughing at it. It's dumb,
Guillermo.
but I laugh at it. So like,
It's so ridiculous. There's so
cool
many good.
background
Like,
watch.
yeah, has the episode where
I like the energy vampire. He's my favorite.
when Colin Robinson, where he gets the office job and meets the emotional vampire. Has
Yes. Yeah, I passed that. That one's great.
That was such a good.
And
I
episode.
think it's
so-
in the first one. It's like the first or second one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the. Yeah, it's pretty.
and I'm like, oh, I know that person at work.
Yeah, exactly. We all know those people.
We
from
all
there.
know the emotional vampires and energy vampires. I like the episode when he start getting really powerful and start growing hair.
Yeah.
and flying.
Oh, God,
and
I wish
shit.
I could have.
Nah, it's too much trouble.
What, the growing hair or sucking the
hair.
energy out of people?
Well, that one's easy.
I
We
miss-
do.
I
We're
miss
doing that
her.
right now.
I think Joey and I have enough hair for the 4 of us.
I know.
I mean, hey,
I need you-
Not body hair. Though.
listen,
Make a donation.
maybe if we were.
Oh wow.
We have the, wow, we're proportioned the same.
That's crazy.
No,
That's natural.
I
Yeah, that is
never
natural.
noticed that.
Maybe.
because he's always wearing sweaters.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he has no body hair either.
Wow.
Except for on my balls.
That's the only place I shave it all.
you got a dragon's beard.
Ass crack, just no ass hair, just ass crack hair.
Oh gosh.
Just right on the balls.
Little patch in his back.
And that's it. Since I'm like doing one binge watching at a time, Expanse is still like it's between finishing Expanse or starting Sherlock Holmes with.
So did you
Cumberbund.
watch season 5 of The Expanse where they went to
I'm-
Baltimore?
No,
Okay.
I'm where they're on the planet and there's 2 factions, and I'm
Okay.
just like, oh, this is drama now. It's not sci-fi anymore.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
was a
so
little bit tedious.
wait to finish it till I finish it so we can keep talking about the.
Well, I was going to try and catch up to you,
No,
and then
no.
we can watch as we
So
go,
I'll watch it all in the next 2 or 3 weeks,
and you keep talking about it.
and then we'll finish it. We'll give Bobby like the idea that we're done with it, and then you'll
start.
jump back into
Yes.
it, and then he can watch it again.
For the 8th, 9th time.
Actually, I've started to just go through and pick. Like, I want to watch these, like this arc,
Right.
Instead of like.
we'll
you know,
drag
watching
this
the
out
whole thing.
another.
We started this like 3 years ago.
That's how I am with movies a lot of times. Like, what drives my wife nuts.
You just
but,
try to
like,
pick one scene?
But yeah, I could throw in a movie and be like, I really want to watch this particular scene from this particular movie, and then
Yeah.
chuck it out there the next
You
one.
can do that because you have a disc, and
Yeah.
you can just go to the scene
Chapter.
selection.
Go to the chapter.
selection.
Chapters, right?
as you were.
Perfect.
Boy,
Christopher, you've been gone.
I have been. I have a lot, but I'm gonna try to zip through it because I know we're running late. I did want to ask, hey Joey, did you hear about the price of chimneys?
No.
They're through the roof. I'll be here all week. So I went to Canada. I flew to
Drake's home place.
yeah, I did, but I was on the other side of Canada.
Was there more than one
So I was
side?
the plan was to work out of Edmonton.
west?
It's multidimensional.
It is.
I thought it was like a thin strip and it's on like one thing.
So the majority of I think within 500 miles of the U.S. border, like 80% of Canadians live in that strip.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that strip.
Yeah, the rest of it's yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story. So my flight was it was a long fucking day, and I flew out on Sunday. So it was from Reagan, which I went to Reagan, and it wasn't weird at all. Except there was a whole lot, like I guess right there where it happened, they had a whole like
They had the bodies still.
they had a unit. So, yeah, they actually had them on display, like Abraham Lincoln. they're touring them.
I mean, wow. Is that like a?
No, it's in the water. I don't know if you heard that. What, do you want me to visit the water? Do you want me to look into it?
What am I going to do? Swim?
I thought they brought him out of the water and then put him up as like a scarecrow to other helicopters.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Okay, so I left from Reagan. I flew to JFK. I was actually there for like I had a 4-hour layover in JFK. Oh. There's worse places to have a layover. There's a lot to do there, a lot to look at and stuff.
In the airport.
Hey, you make the most of it. But,
I mean, not all airports are the same.
Right. I mean, exactly. Like BWI kind of is lame.
Yeah.
I mean, even Reagan and Dulles are nicer. Like
Denver's a fucking disaster.
Yeah, Denver's a mess. So I flew JFK. Then the plane was Calgary, and then Calgary to Edmonton.
Okay.
And that last flight's just like a puddle jumper. It's an hour. It's like a 3-hour drive between. I'm on the plane there from JFK, and this is a late flight. I think it got in around 9 local time, which are in mountain times, 2 hours ahead of us. All right, cool. And I'm getting the internet on my phone. The Google is saying that the plane that's coming to take me to Edmonton is running late.
Okay.
And by the time I get there and get through customs, this motherfucker it's not going to take off till 12:30. I'm like, this flight's not happening, because the pilots are going to time out. They're not going to have an overnight to do a puddle jumper. So I just ended up staying in Calgary. It kind of worked out. I was working with 2 different people that we were all going to meet on one particular day, but it worked out where the guy I wasn't planning on riding with actually was working out of Calgary.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up riding with him the next morning and then meeting up with the other guy. But cold as fuck. Like, I think I might have sent you guys, I think it was like -12 or something like that. It was like the high one day. It wasn't windy at all.
Canada's
luckily.
cold?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Luckily, it wasn't windy because it was cold. I mean, it wasn't like I was standing out in the field digging a ditch, but like, walking to the car.
Why didn't you just leave? Stop.
Like the maples? Funny. Funny. So,
you missed one, Joey.
So I had the bonus side quest of going to Calgary. I'd never been to Calgary before, and I didn't see anything but the airport. So, it's just everything's white. Like they just drive on the snow.
That's how I imagined it.
Oh gosh! So I did encounter some native people while I was there. They're the First Nation.
Okay.
Pretty soon. Hang on. They're not. Oh, I have a good gag here. I'll let you guys go.
Okay, good.
Pretty soon they'll be the 51st Nation. I sat on that one all week. And I will be honest with you. I was talking to people that sell construction and agricultural equipment.
Uh-huh.
So you'd kind of think like what their mindset would be to compare to people. And nobody was like, oh, fuck no, Canada's forever.
Really?
They were all like, well, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, I guess it could be. And
I think they
have no faith in their leadership.
Yeah.
Like for the
he just resigned.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. You don't think that's part
Trivia
of the plan?
Question.
Yeah.
I did find it very odd that the sentiment was so
not what you expected.
nonchalant almost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like red, white, and blue land.
Well,
Did you see that?
No.
So they put in I guess it's a
bill.
It's a bill to acquire Greenland.
Oh, they did.
And change it. So I wish I was playing.
The name of the bill: Red, White, and Blue Land.
Are you fucking serious?
That
was the longest pause we've ever had on this show.
On my grandmother's soul.
I thought it was satire.
So did I.
And I kept
fucking
Wait,
live in
you
a
said, wait,
satire.
this isn't the Onion? This is real.
We live in this really real world.
Like you have to say, like, the Gulf of America thing sounds like something the Onion would put up.
I swear to you.
Yeah.
But I'd be funny if the Onion said, we're running out of material because all this stuff.
I went to a
it's nothing else
.gov website to verify.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. But I was in the elevator at a Courtyard by Marriott in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and there was a group of young, high school age kids and a couple of older ladies that were obviously in charge.
Big fans of Drake.
Didn't ask, but the guy I was with, a Canadian guy, he was just talking to these ladies in the elevator, where y'all from? And they named a place, and he said, I don't even know. He said, I lived here my whole life in Alberta. I have no idea. But she named some place that was 3 hours further north than we were. No, it was 8 hours further north than we were. And then an hour and a half east of there. Right. So these kids.
Santa's house?
Close. Dude, it's like, I don't think we realize how fucking big Canada is.
It's huge.
It's huge.
I mean, it's huge. We were 8 hours from, if we had just gone straight down south, we would have been in Montana, just to give you an idea where we were. I didn't realize how far west that was, actually. But, I got to thinking about it. I'm like, this is probably the biggest deal of these kids' life, to be able to come to the city, right? If they live... we were looking at the map, like, what? There's nothing out here.
We're at Night Country. True Detective takes place, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just interesting. And
that was Alaska.
There was a couple. I rode the elevator down.
Same thing.
I rode the elevator down with a couple of. There were some of the kids that were on the trip coming down to get breakfast, and they were speaking a language I did not understand. While they were playing. No, it was the native tongue, whatever it is.
Tribe Called Quest. And
that's it. That's it. All those guys. Busta Rhymes, a little bit of Busta in there. Just from a perspective, right? I was just like, that's interesting, and I'm up here for work, freezing my ass off, and this is probably the biggest deal of their lives to come to civilization. And
it's a quick sidebar. This is something I thought of a while. But I think it would be. It sounds dumb, but I think it would be important and maybe change the perspective on things if we just start doing away with our fake map and start using real maps.
Come on, Flat Earth, what we got?
No.
Oh, because because the original the maps are based on shipping and shit.
Yeah, and also if you look at a real map of what size things are and compared to each other,
on a globe.
But it's hard to see because you can't visualize the globe, right? But there are
those maps that kind of look like a bunch of triangles.
Yeah,
but flatten it out.
But you can see how big and how small things are in relationship to each other. I think that would change perspective.
The reason why land masses are disproportionate on the drawn map versus how they are.
You mean the one that was made in the 1780s that we still fucking use for some reason?
Yeah. And the reason why is because it was meant mainly for shipping.
Yeah, it was
and
a commerce thing.
Yeah, so you needed places that were getting a lot of cargo in and out. You needed to have a tighter view of them. It was a practical thing.
Also, it's just if you just take a round object and you smash it down, the top and bottom gets stretched out.
Yeah.
But the true size of countries versus what they are on the map, I think changes perspective for people, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to. I mean, still,
in our minds growing up, Russia is ginormous, right? But it's not that big.
But just for scale,
they're trying to make it bigger, though, aren't they?
Even without a map, right? Without a map, it's going to take you. I mean, depending on how you drive, 8-hour drive is what, 800 miles or not? It's probably 600 miles. But, and then so these folks traveled 10-12 hour day, right, to come down. Just for perspective, if we drove 10 hours south, you'd be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, right? If you drove 16 hours south, you'd be in Tallahassee, Florida, right?
Yeah.
If you drove 6 more hours, you'd be getting close to Miami, right?
What's 6 hours after that?
Well,
Gulf of America?
The Gulf of America.
I get you, yeah.
So if you go straight down south, I think you actually clip the edge of Brazil, depending on how you're holding the map.
Now let's do southwest.
So if you go southwest, you're going to go, from there, you're going to go back into the Gulf of America, and you're going to end up in Amarillo.
You bloody right we are.
All right. So, anyways, perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Canadian TV is weird. It's like a fucking cruise ship. You guys,
I don't know why that works for me.
Everybody been on a cruise before?
Oh yeah.
I used to love it. Before. So it's like these 12 random channels that are in different languages, and it seems to be the same thing on every day, but it's that's kind of how the first place I was at, the Canadian TV was like that. I'm like,
I can believe that.
when I was in Calgary that morning before I was watching it. I always try to watch the local news just to see what the vibe is, right? And man, they don't pick attractive people to do the news in Canada like they do here in the States.
Do they not have attractive people?
Oh, there's plenty of attractive
I
people.
think the women have.
I was at a restaurant like middle of the day in the middle of nowhere, and there's like gorgeous girls working there.
I think Quebec specifically.
Yeah, Quebec's known for their
Ladies.
attractive ladies, for sure.
Go visit.
Let them know I read a bloody book or two.
But in this hotel in Calgary, I got the local news from Edmonton, the local news from Calgary, and the local news from Boise, Idaho. They ain't got no lookers either. Let me tell you.
or teeth.
So
I don't know.
I went in Walmart up there just because I always go into Walmart, and it was weird as fuck. There were red signs. The toy aisle was like,
I don't like that at all.
Oh, I took a video of it.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, you do.
You don't want your perspective changed?
No,
It's part of the process.
You're blue.
No,
Target's
bullshit.
red.
Your fucking Amazon is green, and it shouldn't be, and you're perfectly fine with that.
I prefer it green. I prefer it green or beige. But I think that I like it all. Like Walmart's blue, Target's red.
Hey, I don't know what your girl's up to. Because
you
Laura has her own store in
enterprising
in
out
Canada.
there.
Yeah.
You like your red versus blue, I guess, huh? You just love it everywhere.
I can't find the video, but the toy aisles were like 3 foot or 4 foot tall, not 8 foot tall, so you could see over the whole thing.
You can.
Well, anyone could almost, maybe even
Not
you,
everybody.
Joey. But it was very strange, and they have different snacks and stuff up there. Like they have a lot of the candy that our British friends bring over. They have a lot of that there.
I like the candy he brought. I tried some of the regular snacks. I'm like, American chips are better.
Yeah. Did you
the roast beef flavored?
I didn't even try it.
I tried it. I likened it to the fact that we eat a chicken in a biscuit. It's very similar. It's just beef broth cooked in with it, like chicken broth.
But it's not as good as a good old Lay's.
No, I went to
nacho cheese.
I went to a McDonald's, and I know I heard through Cody about you were having some table dilemmas upstairs. And,
yes,
and I saw this, and I'm like, I think this is what Bobby's wanting. Yeah. In a McDonald's in Edmonton.
But made of pure marble. That's 1,000 pounds.
Not anymore.
They don't sell biscuits there. They don't have. It's all.
Maybe it's just called a different thing, and not.
No,
biscuit,
it's not, because I have a video of the menu because it's so crazy. They have like an everything bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese with lettuce and tomato on it.
They almost had me.
Yeah, same.
That was one option, and it's so cheap. So I got a combo meal, right? It was $7.49, which I tell you right now would be a great time to vacation in Canada because that dollar weak as fuck.
It ever?
It's like a 40% off sale up there right now because their dollar is 40% down from us. So with the change in currency, I got a combo meal with a large coffee for $4.49. I went to McDonald's this morning and got a egg McMuffin meal and an iced coffee, and it was $8. What the fuck?
Wow.
What the fuck? Let's see. What else do we have?
Taxes
here?
or some shit, right?
Probably.
Tariffs.
Yes. I didn't want to go.
Well, if you didn't get the bacon, egg, and cheese, you'd have been fine.
So on the way,
I want to stay away from that word.
Gold on our breakfast sandwich now?
Yeah, so Kelly said at Safeway, 12 eggs was $9 the other day.
That's a lot of money.
How much are 6?
Probably $7. So
you laugh at all the people who has been raising their own chicken. Who's laughing now?
Ain't nobody laughing now.
Man, you snatched the S right up off there, didn't you?
So on the way back, I flew into Minneapolis, and then we're flying back to Reagan, and that was when they decided that they were going to shut some runways down to help mitigate the risk of any more accidents happening. I have an idea. Keep the fucking helicopters away from the goddamn airport.
Where are they supposed to land, though?
Up their ass. Fucking black ops choppers. None of that makes any sense. I don't want to get into any of that shit. But
Yep.
it's a whole thing.
I got a
I mean,
pretty
it's
decent
tight airspace.
I got a pretty decent education from someone associated with some of that stuff down there, and they made it pretty simple. They gave me a long explanation, which I appreciated, but the simple truth is that helicopters were too high.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
It's just one of those things where it might not be the best place to have it. It's too late now, obviously.
Yeah,
we're not going to shut down. But
and God bless all those. There's a lot of kids and shit. Like
it's just not the best place to have an airport when you have like so much shit going on there in DC.
Yeah.
I'm surprised like nothing's happened until now with like because there's a lot of shit going like in the airspace.
Yeah.
All the time, right?
Bobby, I was tempted to buy you this Optimus Prime shirt they had at the airport.
At the airport, like at the regular ass store.
I'm glad you're
That's amazing.
wiser self
And the
pulled
plural of
through.
that would be Optimuses.
Well, if it had been in black, you probably would have been crazy. So, I talked about the red box machine still sitting around.
Yeah.
Well, the last one I knew of finally left, and look what they put in its place.
A Pokemon.
A fucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I was walking. I looked at it and was showing it to Mason, and a guy. Me and Charlie were in there getting some groceries, and I walked out, and a dude was buying a pack, and I said, "Man, you just bought a pack of cards out of a vending machine in the foyer of a grocery store. How crazy is that?" He said, "You gonna buy some?" No, I'm not.
The weird, funny thing is that's like normal for when I was a kid. We didn't have fancy machines like that, but you had like I think you've seen them in a regular grocery store before, where you put in some coins and you roll it, and a card comes out. So we just went back to that 40 years later.
Yeah. So speaking of cards, the other day Mason was going to sell some Pokemon cards just because he has some expensive ones, and he's going to a con and wants some con money. And
Nothing wrong with that.
Bizzle bam. Well, I was like, I forgot. I have some. I got it in the AEW cards during COVID, and I pulled this card. It's an autographed MJF card, and I didn't realize it till recently. It's actually numbered. It's one of 25.
Oh wow!
So and I did my Google machine research. I was looking up everything I could. So this is a Prism Parallel. It's got a 20 thing named to it. And I knew what I was doing. I went in and you'll never guess what I did.
What'd you do?
I joined some Facebook groups for this, and I was like, hey, new here, blah blah blah. I can't find the value on this card, blah blah blah. And somebody's like, here it is. And he told me the total. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll hang on to it for a while. So I had a guy hit me up. He's like, hey, I'm interested in that MJF card. If you're selling, I'm completing the set.
It's like 24 of them.
No, the
set of cards.
The set of cards for that year.
Oh, I was going to say, you just collect all the signed ones. That'd be amazing.
That'd be like me collecting Ollies or something. So I said, yeah, I'd be interested in selling. He said, what do you want for it? I said, I was thinking 400. And with no hesitation, he said, that sounds good. What's your PayPal? So he got $420 with shipping and fees he gave me, and I'm shipping him a piece of card.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's wild.
I'll make some noise for
So
you.
you're going to hold on to it. It might be worth more later, no?
And now I can go buy a bunch of stuff that I really want that I'll never touch. I'm almost done. I just have my...
Yeah, no worries.
Let's see. I've got all that.
But I don't know with collectibles like that because that value could always crash. But being assigned limited to 25 prints, do you think it would be just? I don't know. I mean,
it's a very
selling things in general
market,
because because if that I don't know, is he famous?
Yeah, he's probably
he's
the
on a
big
card.
Still,
Yeah,
still,
he's well.
it can be on a card.
They get a lot of sign. You can buy some of them for $1, but he's a big star, and it's considered a rookie card as well.
Right, so I'm saying like it could basically only go up and down.
It could, right? But wrestling is cyclical, right? It's super hot right now.
But then it's hot again in 20 years.
Right, exactly.
You can retire off of it.
Sure. If I remember that,
or buy a tattoo shop.
That's it. One of the two. So I watched a lot of stuff. I'll try to get through it pretty quick. Kelly and I have been watching this show called Paradise that's on Hulu. It is basically the premise is something has happened. We don't know what, and they pick 25,000 people to go live in this bunker thing.
Oh, sounds awesome.
And it's kind of like the drum in The Expanse with the fake sky and the light that moves and everything. And, they have a whole civilization. There's something nefarious at hand, and we're trying to slowly figure out what it is. And
some kind of social experiment.
Like the third episode, like they kind of painted this guy as a bad guy. In the third episode, it tells his story, and like he ain't the bad guy, but they're painting him to be the bad guy. So I'm interested in seeing
in public that I don't want to be selected to be one of the 25,000 people that survive.
Yes,
that's cool.
Yeah,
just let me die, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't
think there'll be a lot of fight. I don't think.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. I watched. So the first 3 episodes of the 3rd season of Invincible dropped.
Yes.
I watched the first one last night. It took me a while to remember what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Because it's been so long and I watched so much shit, but that was fucking great.
Nice.
I'm excited and they're long. Me and Mason were going to sit down and watch it last night, and I'm like, oh, these are like 45-minute episodes. They're long, but they're good and they're fast paced, and they're well animated, and
they are.
It's a lot of they're dead. No, they're not. It's good
like
stuff.
comic book stuff.
I watched Time for Movies on the plane. I actually watched 3 movies and some of The Expanse because I couldn't get their fucking Wi-Fi to work. So, and I just had them downloaded.
Of course, you just have to download it.
I watched The Wild Robot.
Oh, so they say it's great.
It is. I say it's a combination of WALL-E and the Iron Giant.
Yeah, I want to.
So 2 great robots.
Yeah.
Combined into one.
I want to.
It's
They're
a cool.
combiners now.
Oh, look at Louis Farrell.
So we call them gestalts in the educated community.
Well, all I know is that some people miss that the windows are different.
Hey, Bobby, I don't know if, and look, I very vaguely even know what he's talking about, but I know I saw Ricky crack a joke about it.
Yeah.
I watched that. I watched Saturday Night. I thought it was boring.
Really? We just don't like the same shit.
I will say, I would watch the guy that plays Chevy Chase play Chevy Chase all day long.
Yeah.
But some of
he's
those
great.
people were just like,
Billy Crystal was great too.
He was.
What other great comedians were there?
Dan Aykroyd.
And maybe in the Three Amigos.
Martin Short.
That motherfucker was nowhere in sight. I think he just came up one day and farted, and they're like, "Hey,
He is really quite talented.
can you do that? Can you do that on
I can't wait till the next season comes out, and then I can stop watching it and we talk about it.
God, you guys.
It's a great show, man.
It is
I don't
a
know.
great show.
I mean, most of the stuff that
No, we're talking about different shows.
Yes, but they're both great.
Yeah.
the Saturday night, and I was like, I kind of found it hard to believe. It was like, all right, your show starts, you're falling around. What's his name?
Lorne Michaels.
Like you're going to find Belushi ice skating 30 minutes before your show. I mean,
True story.
I know, but it just seems so ridiculous.
But the truth is stranger than fiction.
I
Sometimes.
guess so. I loved J.K. Simmons playing. What's the old guy with a big dick?
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. I didn't know his name.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, what a handsy guy. Jesus. And I watched. Okay, I have to caveat this. I watched Joker 2. I'm just going to call it. I skipped the music. I just fast forwarded through and I watched it on the plane. It was tolerable.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I thought so too.
I just skipped through the songs.
How short was it after the?
Oh, I don't know. I was on an airplane. At times it's a construct. I mean, honestly, I would listen to enough of the song that's like, at the end of the day, it's like, Bobby, your coffee's empty. And, it's, I long for the sentiment of caffeine in my body.
I didn't think it was great by any stretch of the imagination. I have no desire to ever watch it again. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, I've seen a lot worse recently.
So the way I framed it in my mind is all the songs was just his internal monologue, right? That was the way he was processing the information. And okay, I get it, and I zipped through it, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
For what it was past the music, and I think that's really it. Wraps up for me. I don't think that's it.
All right, I don't have much.
Oh shit, I have one more thing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
please.
I brought these things here.
Yeah.
So all right, guys, I'm making stuff to sell. Right.
Oh yeah.
This and pass this around. This is a barrel. I did not design that.
I've been looking at it the whole time. This looks great.
Thank you. I 3D printed it off a file.
Did you do the paint?
I painted it.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Yeah.
But it's smart.
So let's just talk about labor on this. So it's an hour to print. It prints without supports, which is fantastic.
Oh, it just comes right out.
Yep. So it's got filler primer, black, brown spray paint, and then I weather it with. You never guess what I do.
A little black wash and white dry brush.
That's pretty much it. Actually, it's 2 different brown dry brushes and then a black wash.
Okay.
And then I by hand paint the trim ring, and then I seal it. That's the steps for it.
Okay.
And here's the conversation here. I'm trying to figure out pricing on this stuff. Now this is I designed this by looking at this is a very common background piece in cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. This design essentially. So I took it and I was making these out of MDF. There you go. I was making these out of MDF and gluing all the pieces together, and the margin just wasn't there to sell them. Right. So now I dumped all my files into a software and I made a 3D version. Now this prints flat. It's 5 pieces, right? Mm-hmm. It takes about 4 hours to print.
And you just glue it together?
And nope, it just snapped together.
Oh,
there's
even
no
better.
glue. There's anything. So
Good tolerance.
what would you say, Bobby? You know this. I mean, Joe, you buy stuff. I don't know what the fuck that he done by Hamburger Helper.
So I will answer your question.
Okay.
But I hate this question because I
do
don't.
too, and that's why I'm asking it here because
Okay.
I'm stuck on it.
12, 20.
Okay. And the crazy thing is, like, why would I even do this for 12 with all that labor when that? So that's kind of where I'm stuck.
What's
on
that
it
demand
too.
thing, right?
I was
How many people
thinking,
are gonna buy
15 on the barrel. And the texture on there is on purpose. I'm screwing around with the different settings to try to find the right finish setting. And of course, I did it in those colors because that's what I had. And I think I'm going to paint the handles chrome, like by hand. But that'll be the only handwork on there. What do you think, Joey?
I don't buy these things. So
Right. Okay.
No, I don't either. So that my opinion is completely ignorant.
I don't know. Sorry, because I just wouldn't.
But
buy
just
it.
the dichotomy of.
If I see these side by side, I definitely expect this to be like $5 more.
$5 more. Okay, fair. But just the amount of labor I just explained. And it's not a ton of time because I'll do 12 at a time.
And let me specify, I'm answering without knowing the labor. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I know
all
you told
the paint.
me. You told me the labor,
just
but if I was
looking
just
at
a
the
customer
item.
seeing it
Yeah.
online,
That's why I'm thinking, like, how do I price this?
Yeah, and then, I mean, also like just how many people would buy one versus the other.
Right.
The barrel is just like much wider audience.
Oh, and that's
right?
definitely a sci-fi piece, right?
Yeah.
That'll fit in. But I sell a sci-fi set of shit. I sell a lot of that. So I just curious what you guys thought price wise, because I was like, well, this takes 4 hours to print, but I've got 100 hours in designing this thing, right?
because my thing is with like when you start getting into this shit, right? Because this is for accoutrement for figures,
Sure.
right? So like if my figure is $30, the accoutrement is going to have to be at least under that if it's.
Well, so there's an argument made to that about buying, Walmart shelves versus Detolfs, right?
Yeah.
What you spend on the display.
Yeah.
Right. And there's an appetite for this stuff.
No doubt.
We've sold, and I think the way we were selling these is you got a big crate and then a small one that fits inside of this. And I want to say that was either $45 or $50. And that was me like laser cutting, painting each piece and then gluing it together and cussing. And it was a nightmare.
Right.
To the point where I'm like, I think I can 3D print, and I just, set the printer up. I've got one running right now. So when I get home, I'll pick it off and print another one. And I don't know. It's a weird thing to think. Like I've spent, let's say I have 20 minutes of labor in this, and I'm going to sell it for less than I sell the thing I preloaded the work. I guess is that the way to probably describe it?
Yeah,
I don't know. What's your input, Farrell? You do similar kind of. Worldly things.
Different customers though.
Well, yeah.
So I generally start with how much I need to charge per hour of labor. And
Okay.
then work backwards. Now that
Right.
doesn't always.
It's hard to do when you're just selling on the fly. You're not quoting the price, right? If somebody's like, I want 20 of these barrels.
So I think it's actually harder when you're quoting the price.
Okay.
Because especially in custom kind of stuff, like once you set the price, you have to produce it at that price. And so if there's a mistake or a redo, like it
Or if they measured half-inch wrong.
Yeah, I heard about that. You are a lot more patient man than I am.
that's
there's
what I'm saying.
a lot of throwing and cursing and whatever, but
But not at the guy.
I do have a question because I listened to last week's show. Did you think about making one of the way he now said he wanted it before you cranked out 10 more to make sure that was right?
So I did. The problem with that though is that this stuff is being cut out of a much larger piece of plastic.
Right.
So I have to account for the time it takes to load the machine,
Setup time.
the design, like take all the parts that I have designed and then place them as a file that will go onto that CNC machine.
I know exactly what you mean.
Right. And then, so then taking the part that has to be engraved and setting the machine up for that. Right. So then assembling one, welding one, painting one, delivering one. Like at some point there's diminishing returns when it comes to it's easier just to cut all 10 out.
No, and I understand that. I'm the same way when I'm prototyping stuff. It's like the grind of building one. I'm like, all right, I have to do this 20 times. It'll be easier because I can step by step, right?
So I start
I
with how
understand
much
what you're saying now.
I want per hour of what my time is worth. And then from there, I kind of work backwards. Like, is this a product that's even worth me offering?
Yeah.
Because if the price point isn't there to justify my time, then sorry, I'm just not going to do it.
Makes sense.
Fair enough. Hey, Bobby, how was your nerd week?
It was brief. All things considered,
That's good.
Yeah. So that's fair. So real quick, I had put out there that I was looking for Transformers
I want to hear this story.
IDW collection, Phase 2, Volume 12.
Very specific book.
Very specific book. Of course, it's the one I'm missing. Of course, when I go to Google it, it's not fucking available on eBay. It's only available on Amazon. There's 2 copies available. One's $600 and one's $2,000.
I'll read you a lullaby for that kind of money.
So I put up a post on all my, eventually I put up a post on all my socials to include YouTube of just the picture and saying I'm looking for it. And a guy, Brandon, shout out to him.
He's a wild and crazy guy.
No, I don't know him. So he responds to it and he said, "Are you expecting to pay retail?" And let me tell you something. My gut reaction was, don't you fucking worry about it. You don't fucking have it. So don't waste my fucking time.
Oh, wait, what was your number?
Hold on.
Okay.
So I thought to myself, okay, you're having an emotional reaction, right? But someone else that has this book might be looking at this, see the comment, read my answer, and then act accordingly. So my response was, of course not. Right? So I get an email the next morning from him. Let me tell you, I've never been happier to not have cursed somebody the fuck out. And he says, I have it. He sends pictures. He says, I'm looking to get rid of my comics collection. Make me an offer.
Wow. I hate that too.
Me too. So this is what I did. I'm paying a late tax. It's obviously sought after.
Yes.
The last one sold on eBay for like $400 and some dollars. There's one at $600 that's not moving. So the one at $2,000 is collecting dust.
Yeah, it's just somebody
Showing
showing a
off.
text right off somewhere.
So I said, and I was ready to negotiate, and you better ready to be giving up your shit. No, but I said 200. Sent it. That's over 3 times the retail price.
But half the what?
But half of what it went for on eBay.
But my man's trying to get rid of his collection.
Yes.
And he wrote back and said, "That's fair." And I said,
That's awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I was like, "What a pleasant exchange!"
Yes.
It wasn't somebody trying to gouge me. Nope. It was somebody that knew he had something of value.
Yeah.
Maybe he heard my offer and was like, "You know what? That's a fair offer for what this is." Sent it from Canada. Canada's getting a lot of
shout out for Canada.
Canada's getting a lot of FaceTime today. It arrived a couple weeks later. It's in my collection. I got the whole set now.
Congrats.
Yeah, happy as a clam.
The world is fine now.
You know that well, hey, balance. Balance. Yeah. So just real quick on that, buying and selling. The guy bought that card for me. I think I was like, thank you for making this an easy transaction, because he wasn't like, can I see 28 pictures of the inside of the card and what kind of protector you're using? Do you have 14 references? Nope. He just he's like, hey, I pay PayPal goods and services to cover both of us. I cover the fees. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. We're not gonna have to argue about $2.
I finished my Technobots piece.
Yes.
And like they're not popular characters and it's not a crazy thing, but I'm happy with it in terms of like my body of work, which is something I'm trying to come more to terms with. It's like, I could do this. I could do this and make it super G1 and I could make it super action packed, but it's not what I want from my body of work. So
I love the
like the
casual poses you're doing and stuff.
So
that's how I pose my figures that way. I don't have my figures like fighting. Most of the time they're just kind of hanging out.
So I'm happy with it.
See my new gun? It's in my holster. Don't try to take it out; it'll break.
So then I watched episode 1 of the Spotify show, the playlist.
Okay, now where do you find this show? Did you guys?
So it's on Netflix.
Okay.
My wife got somebody's account just to watch it. We actually watched it before the Super Bowl. We watched the first episode. I was fucked up. Is
this a documentary or like a?
No, it's like a
drama
Blackberry.
Okay.
But it's a season. It's a series. It's also dubbed.
So I haven't.
From what?
At least it seemed.
So it's not in English.
It seemed dubbed.
What's the original language?
I don't know.
What's the name of the show?
I was fucked
exactly?
up.
I think
I was
it's called
fucked
the
up.
Playlist.
So yeah, we started watch. So we did Bobby Boogie Bop that day, which is a big drinking day for me. It's like my big drinking day a month, and so I'm drinking. We finish Bobby Boogie Bop. We go into dinner party mode. I'm still drinking, and then we go into like, okay, we're gonna watch the Super Bowl, and I'm like, don't mind if we do, and then and so I was pretty fucked up. I need to watch it sober. I don't even have an opinion on it because my eyes were looking at it, but my brain was somewhere else.
Okay, so it is some of it's in Swedish and some of it's in English because it's a Swedish company that started.
Yeah.
And Wikipedia is pretty whatever, right. But it says the series tells a fictionalized story of the birth of Spotify. So I don't know how
I think that's the same as Tetris. and-
Right.
Yeah, it's like here's
technically
the events,
fictionalized.
but we're gonna make the
Dramatize it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it isn't like we have the dialogue.
But also, I think legally, like you get away from
that came out in 22.
Get sued.
I didn't realize it was that old.
like you can't be like it's like not defamation.
Yeah, that's what you won't get sued if you say this is fictional,
Right.
Whether it is or not. It's all coincidence.
Right.
So then I watched some South Park this week.
Oh wow.
Mainly to go to sleep to. So I'll tell you. So I've cut, and this is not about this, but I have cut my drinking way back.
After just saying how he just
except-
drank all day.
So
Except
that's
on
my big
special
day,
occasions.
and I've cut my drinking way back.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I don't mean that like shitty. I'm just legit.
No, I'm not even sure if it's good for me, to be honest with you. I mean, it's good for my health, but that doesn't matter. Separate conversation for a different day. But as a result, I need some like mind numbing things to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I've been watching South Park, which is mind numbing, but also has some thought to it, right? Mm-hmm. And I watched their AI episode, and as you might expect, it was interesting. So it all centers around one student in South Park has a really solid relationship with a girl because every time the girl texts him, he copies the text, pastes it into ChatGPT, and asks for a response that she would like, and then posts this response back that, of course, is like multi-paragraph response. You know, like I'm so happy you woke up for school in time, even though you were tired, because, you know, waking up sometimes is really just half the battle. And then getting out of bed and putting your stuff together and then going and like, good for you. Like you're really out there doing it. Whereas before he would have been like, cool, you know, send.
Right.
So then it extrapolates and it kind of starts making like broader statements about AI that aren't crazy and that aren't swayed, as you might expect, in typical South Park fashion, to one extreme or the other, right? And then at the end, in the credits, I happened to notice the fucking episode. This is why I love these motherfuckers, man. The episode is credited as being written by Trey Parker and ChatGPT. So to make this point about AI, he used AI to help make the point. I love those motherfuckers more than they will ever know. I think that South Park is the one true voice of reason that's consistent in this country over the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my baby Leia had a sleepover. So food is a tricky topic for my family.
Yeah.
So I said, I always am curious how dinner went at these things because I remember being a kid and being stressed out about that. Like going to somebody's house for like a sleepover and being like, man, they're going to have some food I'm not going to want to eat and blah, blah, blah. So I said, how was dinner? And she looked at me with like this, like, oh, fuck, like it was scary. And she was like, they had Polar Express for dinner.
What?
So I said,
Oh, she had a sleepover somewhere. At somebody else's house. Mm-hmm. I got you.
so I said, do you mean Panda Express?
Is that what you meant?
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't like the panda.
She said, thank God someone asked for chicken nuggets.
That's great. That's great. That's wild to have that for a sleepover. I mean, I guess if it was
That's
the
good
girl,
food.
the girl. I know, but for what 6-7-year-olds,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. We can move into questions now, and then we'll cover the notes last because Chris is under some time constraints. Let's see here. All right.
Hey, how did somebody ask it?
Great question.
You can email us at nerdragemail@gmail.com.
Farrell, I'm so glad you've taken that off my plate. that was a weight on my shoulders.
Happy to help.
Todd R writes in, hello, NRR crew. Bonnie Blue, a UK porn actress, supposedly claims she holds the world record of banging 1,057 dudes in 12 hours. The legend goes that OnlyFans deleted the video immediately, stating that too many creators were featured in one single video. And only bits and pieces of this accomplishment have been leaked here and there for various probably bullshit reasons. The event likely has been blown out of proportion and probably mostly untrue, but alas, the question must be asked. Unfortunately, I guess fortunately, if you're that kind of dirty bird, you've been last in this train. Well, you were last in this train. Would you answer the call? If not, and drafted earlier, then what's your magic number before tapping out? Oh yeah, and Happy New Year, dudes.
Happy New Year.
Wait, the magic number for if
So it's going to be a huge gangbang.
right? Am I getting gangbanged or
No,
am
no,
I?
no. Rest assured, you're okay. No, a young lady wants to be wants to be gangbanged. At what point are you too far down the list to be interested?
I mean, are we? The thing about these achievements is I have questions. Right? Is this 1,000 to completion or 1,000 entered you in some capacity?
I'm guessing to completion.
But that's the thing. It becomes maybe because I'm Asian. It becomes a math problem. Like how much time do you got? Like it's
fluffed.
not, huh?
They get fluffed.
Okay.
So they're each individual person that's finishing is probably only there for 10 seconds.
Well, who's the fluffer is the question. Because that's the person you're really banging.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
If you got
that's part of the industry,
someone I'm
yeah.
not interested in as a fluffer, that I don't care. Because as a matter of time, right? So like if you have like 5 seconds with this bitch because she got a line to go through, it's not
Why
even
she
worth my
gotta be a bitch?
time. Huh?
Why she gotta be a bitch?
We're all bitches. It's fine. As I was saying.
So for me, I'll answer if I'm into her. If I'm into the idea, I'm okay with being dead last. If I have to, I'm okay with being
same.
I can be the closer.
It's just
if I
like
have to
that's
be.
not-
Like if that's the cross I have to bear.
But there's no quality time where you get 5 seconds. With
It's
this,
not supposed to be a
this
quality
girl.
time.
Yeah, I'm not looking for quality time.
an
But it's
event.
not. It's not worth the effort to.
I got a whole wife.
But you have to go out there to this event, stand in line for however many long.
Yeah, but if I want
for
it,
5 seconds.
But if I want it,
Joey won't even go for Oreos.
exactly.
right. So yeah, I'm
like-
down.
What if they came to your house?
Oh yeah, 5
Okay.
seconds is fine.
I'm
Wait,
super.
wait,
I'm super.
like-
I'm super.
So,
sexy.
but
No, so 999 other dudes
yeah,
and
that's
one
fine. I
chick.
don't give a
Okay.
fuck. It's about the fluffer for me.
In your
at this
house.
point.
The weight bench. The weight bench.
In your house,
I mean, it's gonna line up around the block. HOA's gonna have a problem.
I might.
HOA. You
I'll
probably.
let you jump in line.
Oh,
What if people just start getting in line and they know what it's for and they're like, "Oh, cool."
People like a line. People see a big line and they would just go stand in it.
Yep.
all right. I don't know. If there's any other hot takes on this. So I'll keep.
No, he explained the fluffer. We're good on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one is from
Holy shit.
Andrew M.
So, Andrew M.
said-
the Bible has Psalms. What do you got?
He said, "How I learned about Black History Month." What's up, wizards? It's January. While driving to the theater to see Nosferatu on a date, I was suddenly struck by a fever dream-like memory of an event I went to as a child. I had to call a few close friends, and I still have from elementary school, just to confirm this actually happened and wasn't literally a fabrication of my mind. My memory of this event is hazy at best, but I only truly remember the bigger parts, but I will do my best. This will be a bit of a story, but I think it's enough merit saying on air and should be topical for Black History Month.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, and for those listening, I'm trying to get Evan and Dante out for our tradition here. It's proving a bit challenging, but I'm going to give them another opportunity next week, which would be the last week that they could make it happen. When I was in second grade in 2004, our school put on a play about Black History Month. In my child's mind, this play was directed by an older adult alumni for our elementary school who was in the film industry and wanted to come back to our school to promote something he felt strongly about. My friend and I talked to say that he was simply a high school AP art student his older brother knew that was allowed to put it on, which makes more sense based on how the play went. The play happened at least 2 or 3 different times while I was in school. Once a year in February, a cast of 5th graders enrolls. The play was performed at a local high school at our district's Performing Arts Center, and all classes got out of school to travel to this by bus. So it was a big deal. The play encompassed much of the district's curriculum of events regarding Black history, but specifically focused on the slave trade. I do not recall much of what the play was about outside of this. Probably because my young mind was so shocked by what I was witnessing. I am also not sure why the slave trade was such a fixture of this performance. The play showed many aspects of said slave trade while being narrated by the play director, from landing into Africa to unloading said slaves off the boat into America. Remind you, 5th graders were playing these parts at the oldest. I do not remember if any students actually played the roles of slaves, but I certainly remember classmates I knew dressed in clothes, marching back and forth across the stage in lines together, looking either cold, sick, or injured. This was meant to be a very heartbreaking moment of the performance. Our school was fairly mixed, but I cannot imagine how they were remotely about to pick kids up from these classes to play the part of a slave in a fucking slave trade sequence. People's parents showed up to this shit. Camera rolls and video cameras and all. People clapped for it. I truly do not understand how no one involved with this questioned the optics of allowing this to happen. Now for the finale of the play, which I remember vividly. The slave trade sequence of the play was at the tail end, so of course you can't end things on the low note like that. The director of the play then came out in the center stage, and he, along with all the kids involved in the play, sang a rendition of "I Believe I Can Fly" by R. Kelly. I am not kidding. Literally something out of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sounds like it.
To this day, I've never been able to hear that song without thinking about a bunch of kids in tattered clothes singing it poorly at this performance. All I can think about now is if these kids, now adults, remember being in this play, does it keep them up at night? Does the memory of R. Kelly haunt them? Questions. Hope y'all got a laugh from that. I also have a story of a friend from college in Alabama. Hope y'all got if you want to hear that next, sure.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a wild story.
My
2004 is not even that early.
My Black history curriculum, I like from elementary school, it was all in my mind. You know, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou. Those were like the big four,
yeah,
and then after the movie, Malcolm X started getting brought into the mix.
So I talked before about this. My elementary school librarian, we had library once a week for an hour, and it was either Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for an hour, or it was
just an hour.
The Sound of Music for an hour of The Sound of Music. Except in February.
Oh, okay.
We did Black History Month. And I don't really remember much about it other than we weren't watching one of those two movies. But February Black History Month, we don't watch movies.
And I remember like George Washington Carver.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that until middle school. I don't remember that.
Invent it.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Is it Flat Earther over here?
No. I think you're right.
I'm kidding.
I remember.
It was like popularized.
Well, George Washington never cut down a cherry tree either. Let's just.
I think it was. Is it cherry or apple? Oh, I'm thinking about Newton. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sir Isaac.
I'll eat the Newton either way.
Here's one from Joe S. Hello, gents. Kinks can be really weird. Since my wife passed away, I've definitely developed a new one. Big, poofy hair. The bigger, the better. I can't explain it. She didn't even have hair like that. Even those little pics. Super fucking sexy. You couldn't say you could say it's a real aphrodisiac. You got us.
I'm glad that kink went that way and not the way that my mind originally.
The bush.
No.
You got us.
My wife died. I developed a new kink. Like,
Yeah.
God, where are we going?
See, I made friends with the guy at the funeral.
Anyway, we live in unprecedented times, guys. All sorts of ridiculous crap going on, and not just politics. Conspiracy theories get all sorts of silly traction. Do you have a favorite? I'm rather partial to the flat Earth theory, mostly because I have no idea what would be gained from convincing people that the world isn't flat. Like
pussy.
What would the point be? Who benefits from a globe Earth versus a flat Earth?
The cult leaders always get the pussy. That's where it comes from.
Fuck no. He's saying, why waste your time?
Like globally, why does it matter?
Like, why waste your time?
From 10,000 feet.
Why waste your time with them? Take care, guys, and always thanks for everything. So
I'd probably say, as far as something that people widespread believe, is that. Although I remember watching, I think you watched a documentary about that, and they were firing a bullet to prove that there was no curve. And
beyond the curve.
Yeah, and obviously it showed the curve, and that's how it ended. So I'm like, cool.
What's the one with the shadow person in government?
I mean, I don't know that it has a name by chance, but
Tom Clancy.
Like, it's just a shadow government in general.
No, but the one person was like posting cryptic messages. It was a huge thing for the first Trump.
Like
QAnon stuff.
QAnon.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite.
Oh, actually, Pizzagate.
Yeah.
Pizzagate. All wrapped up.
It's all part of the QAnon.
Part of the same.
That one's the most ridiculous one that comes to mind.
One of mine is like, and people get all bent out of shape about this, but like one of mine is like the 9/11 thing, and I think the thing about that drives me the most nuts, right, is like what the conspiracy theorists believe regarding it, right. it would take so many people to accomplish. And this would just be the one time that everybody was able to keep their fucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with any like the flat Earth thing too, right? Every single pilot has been in on it.
Right.
Every single one of them.
One of my favorite quotes from the Fifth Column, haven't got plugged in a while. Mike Moynihan said, "I've never met a conspiracy theorist that believes just one."
Yeah. And sometimes they contradict.
So here we go. Willie Whammo writes in, "Howdy Nerd Ragers, hope all is well. Is Superman circumcised? Could Superman be circumcised? If yes, with
a
kryptonite blade."
Kryptonite blade. Did they specifically get a kryptonite blade just so they can circumcise him?
Yeah. If
You
he
even DC, bro.
If he cares about the aesthetics. I'm just- One of my favorites still to this day, jokes that ever happened here, is when I was making fun of uncircumcised people, and you're like, we probably have a lot of uncircumcised listeners. And I was like, I hope not.
So I guess it would depend on the culture of Krypton. If he was
They're also
circumcised,
aliens. They might be born without foreskins.
Let's just go with that. I like that better.
They're just born without foreskins.
Yeah, there you
They
go.
have evolved beyond foreskins, I guess.
Or
Yeah,
maybe they're
They have 5 skins.
maybe their foreskins have
a little-
evolved into something more useful.
It's a little flat. It's a little flap like
They
a
could
Gila
carry
monster.
things around in it. Like,
But it says, could he circumcise himself with laser vision? Like, he just needed, it's kryptonite blade. Kryptonite blade is the answer.
I'd be worried to circumcise myself. Like laser
Oh my
vision?
God. Yeah, no. I don't want any parts of that.
well, you're not
Sometimes I get
Superman now, are you?
Sometimes I get nervous shaving. All right, Paul C. writes in, Happy New Year to everyone but Bobby. What items are staples in your pantry and or refrigerator?
No, Oreos.
What are the things that, not including any sort of shortage or crisis, you would always have available? So I'll give you an easy one for me. Ketchup.
Oh, specifically?
Yep.
No,
Ketchup.
specifically, the brand of ketchup matters
Heinz. I can do the Heinz Simply ketchup, like the less chemical shit. Like I'm good with that. The taste isn't huge in its differential.
too. Let's have a Twilight Zone episode out there, whereas you and the entire world has only hunts, and you would just be like in hell.
Or it's best choice
That
ketchup.
is my hell if I
Yeah,
die and go to hell.
Best choice ketchup.
You wake up in an alternate universe.
Yeah, or there is just no ketchup at all,
Or, no,
and,
he has
and it's nothing but hot dogs and hamburgers.
No, he has to convince people that there's a better version of ketchup, and they're like, "No, this is the only ketchup that's ever existed." So then he feels like he's losing his mind. At some
I'm like,
point.
am I crazy?
So much as mentioned here, no matter how much food I buy, it's gone in 3 days. But peanut butter, we always have peanut butter.
We
you
do
know.
too.
And I eat a peanut butter sandwich 2 or 3 times a week.
Thanks, George Washington Carver.
Thanks for watching, Carver. You got anything shit to say about a PBJ?
No,
No, they're delicious.
They're fucking fantastic.
He likes Hamburger Helper too. I don't.
I do like it.
Oh, yeah, defend his stance on liking.
some just with butter on the noodles.
So Bobby gets a pass like Kanye. He's like, anything that he says about food that's like a hot take, we don't, we're like, yeah, it's just Bobby. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
So my staple is popcorn.
Really? Like the pre-pop bag or like the post-pop bag?
Pre-pop.
So you need a microwave.
Yeah.
So if the power's out, you fucked.
I think
I mean, we can figure out a different way.
I think that my thing with Kanye.
Jiffy Pop.
What
Does
now?
Kanye like peanut butter?
I don't know.
He has
Oh,
no
one
teeth.
on the stovetop?
Probably even
If you
better.
have gas stove, then you're
Yeah.
right.
Is that like, and it's not just him. Remove him from it. Right, Kanye.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I ordered his new slide slippers or whatever, the $20 ones.
Did you?
I'm hoping they'll come eventually because they haven't shipped yet, and it's been a month, and
They will.
his website closed down. So hopefully,
Oh, yeah.
Are they
that's
going to
fair.
fit you? Isn't it just like
they're
two
actually
sizes?
sized.
Oh, I thought there was
Actually
only
have-
3 sizes.
No, these actually have
Okay.
like numbered. Size.
Conformist.
It's just that like it's just whether or not anyone, and I'm not saying they can't be. I'm not saying it's valid if they aren't or are. It's just whether or not anybody read anything there and really got offended.
I mean, it's comical at this point. I don't think anybody's getting offended at
'Cause,
this
like,
point.
I
from
just
him.
don't, like,
because
he
he's put it out what he is, who he is, and
Yeah.
you either accept him or you don't.
He had plenty to say about white people. He has plenty to say about white people in his music.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm never offended by it. I'm just not. And maybe I'm an anomaly. But my thing is like sometimes it's like, and I don't condone obviously some of the characters that he praised in this. I think he did specifically for shock value, right? And I don't condone it, but it's like so like like Marilyn Manson has a song with a particular title off of the EP, "Smells Like Children," that like I'm surprised no one has brought up. It's like a cover song, if memory serves.
It is.
But like, you know, I guess it's like, is anyone offended? Is everyone offended by that, or does people feel like they have to be offended by it? You know, and not for the sake of judging whether something's right or wrong, but for the sake of having the discussion. Like, are we doing this because we agree that culturally you shouldn't say these things and it's the right thing to do, or are we doing this because we're actually hurt by what was said or tweeted or whatever, and by any celebrity in any given circumstance?
I'm not offended by any celebrity saying anything because I don't value their opinion. I don't.
Me neither.
The problem
Sometimes I do.
the problem is that people do.
Sometimes I do.
On Newsmax, they do.
Well, I mean, like, if I value Christopher Nolan's opinion on directing.
Okay, but if he tweeted out
That he doesn't like peanut butter jelly sandwiches,
or ketchup's fucking nasty.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
So that goes back to like
I care more about their opinions on their crafts.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, the other side of that though is that when you are an influencer and you give people the green light,
Right. That's the
that's the problem.
That's the problem. with
Yeah, well,
me.
if Kanye says that, I can say it, right? Or I mean, it's people that are, I'm sure, they're puppets for,
Well, like,
parrots or whatever you
I
want
don't
to call
care
it.
what you say.
Yeah, but you don't. But they're. I mean,
No, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is I don't. I don't care what
I
you
can
say.
understand. So, like, being offended is a weird thing, right? Especially when it's somebody saying something to somebody else that you just either overhear or you consume it because it's on the internet.
I don't know what somebody could say, not directly to me. I don't know if anybody could say anything that would offend me.
Oh, I mean, I could be like the people that I love and care about.
Right, but anyone on the internet,
Yeah, stranger.
they read anything, right?
so
I mean,
it's not
comments, YouTube comments.
Sometimes
right?
I get offended.
I know you do.
Yeah, honestly.
I know you do.
So I had to own that.
Yeah,
I'm offended all the time in general. So
yeah. I'm just offensive. I piss off more people before breakfast.
I think that I can be offensive. Also,
You
I don't
definitely
mean to-
can be offensive.
I don't mean to be.
You're not offensive. You're abrasive, but it's when you're trying to prove a point. And I think that some people don't know how to, especially if they don't know you that well.
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
know you from the internet. It's
Yeah.
probably from the internet. Nope.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Listen to him on Nerd Rage and then talk to him. You need to be a little more strategic about how you're going to put those words out of your mouth.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that I think that's kind of how I feel about all that kind of stuff. It's like I'm not looking for anyone to be my moral compass in any way.
No, I just usually if I'm offended about something like that, as the greater implication, not specifically what one person is saying.
I mean, luckily, people that listen to Kanye are probably not the people waiting for the green light to believe these things.
Right. Or looking.
Now, I think if Trump would have said it,
Oh, I mean, very, very different.
very different.
Very different.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to run.
Yep.
Just real quick, shout out to Bobby for giving us our notes. And just no spoilers here. I saw the trailer for Thunderbolts.
That's nice.
I'm in.
I hate it.
Of course you do.
I hated the
think-
music choice.
I think it looks boring as fuck.
It's got Suicide Squad vibes. And,
Yeah.
and I think David Harbour's funny in that role. Magic the Gathering, I'm confused because I'll be honest with you, I've been around Magic the Gathering my entire life, but I'm
going to let Joey chime in on that.
Oh, I know. I'm just giving my 2 cents. And HasLab, I'm on the fence about.
Okay. Fair enough.
I got to go rescue somebody. So, not really.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck?
But just so you don't forget, Tasty Tank.
All right. I did yours
Well,
last.
cut that in. Cut that in.
Yeah. So anyway, Thunderbolts trailer. I was not impressed. I got bored watching it.
I wasn't. I didn't feel either. It's like I'm like, okay, I'll watch this when it streams, I guess.
Hey, you got your phones here, buddy.
Both of them. You lost both phones.
I got 2 phones.
Yeah, it just didn't do anything for me. Like,
It's just another.
it just looked like people doing things. I didn't see any heart, soul. I just saw people doing things.
Yeah, this is like
It's like the exact opposite of what I want from Marvel right now.
and like, what was the music choice?
It's an 80s record, wasn't it?
No, yeah, but
I can't remember what
I can't
it was.
remember what it was. But I just remember thinking, like, who the fuck is going to be watching this? Is going to be like, oh, thank God. Wasn't it like Starship? Maybe.
Jefferson Starship? Is that what you're saying? Like, let me see.
I think it was like after it was Jefferson Starship. It's just Starship, right?
Was it not Jefferson Starship for a while?
No, it was.
Okay, and then it was the
It was like Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship,
and then just Starship. Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
they evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like, it was weird for me to like when that music started playing in there, I was like, who is the target audience of this?
18 to 35.
Right. And like, those are not the people listening to Starship, right? So it was like
Maybe hipsters. I don't know.
I don't think so. It just felt weird. And then like the scenes they decided to show.
Sometimes I think music choices don't necessarily have the origins of the music doesn't have to correlate with the age group. I think it's just something that they found sounds good, either vibe wise that they think would click with people in a certain age group.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like it matched with what they were showing. And then like the scenes that they decided to show.
Starship, nothing's going to stop us now.
Yeah. So then the scenes, like that weird interaction with like the half laugh in it.
Yeah.
It's just like what
I don't buy it at all.
Me out of this.
It seems very surfacey. It seems shallow. It seems spectacle.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be a combination of family and underdog story.
Yeah.
Like this is the underdog and this a mismatched group of people getting together.
It's funny because I was going to say Suicide Squad and Guardians, which is exactly those two things.
I mean, like I'm not saying that the premise of it is bad. It's just like that trailer didn't
didn't grab me
at all.
I didn't think it was bad, but it seems it seems like I said, something I would put on if I just want a movie on, but I'm not like interested in really digesting whatever this is going to be.
So the trailer failed in that standpoint, right? Because
it's supposed to make everybody want to go see it.
How's do we know the general consensus on this trailer?
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, like this bit coming out, I don't have enough information on it at the moment, but this bit coming out about the Ryan Reynolds nice pool thing. Have you seen that shit?
I've been ignoring it. I know it's getting to be a bigger thing.
Ryan and his wife might be monsters.
Oh, wow.
And this other guy might be a fucking victim.
Mint Mobile is bad?
He sold it already. Yeah. I think. I think that was the whole point.
Like a lot of this shit,
got something real popular and then sold it for profit. I think that was
a lot of this shit has like come out. Like here's one that I don't have it. You have to forgive me. I don't have it all committed to memory. But just a quick example. There was like that movie that she claims that she was sexually harassed in, right? She says that they did not have an intimacy director for the intimacy or intimacy coach or whatever. Whenever they do sex scenes, they bring in like an intimacy person to like make it as comfortable for everyone and blah blah blahs. They did not have it. That was one of her complaints. And there was a text message I think that was shared of a screenshot of the director saying like, no, we don't have one for it, right? Which is, but then like he shared the uncropped.
The whole conversation, yeah.
Where he offers it and she declines it.
Okay.
And then he says, okay, we don't have one. Like, it's like, and like, there's a lot of this coming out.
The question is like, why, just like this true crime stuff I'm watching, is like, why do people like still not understand how technology work? Like,
right.
Like,
did they not think it was going to come out?
Especially if you're going to use it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these criminals are like, don't realize they're being tracked by the phone. But like, if you're going to use a piece of text, you don't think the other person has the rest of the text.
I agree. And there's a bunch of it.
But then it goes even further. Like, if you're a professional actress, right, who has a team of legal people to help you sign this contract, right? If you read the script and you saw there's an intimacy, like, why wouldn't you have addressed that before you
I agree.
agreed to it?
I agree.
To say like, hey, I noticed in here that you don't have an intimacy director or consultant or whatever. I prefer these people. Can you share the name with me so that I can?
Yeah, but she didn't want one.
Right. But it's like, like to come back after the fact and then claim it and then like,
I agree.
It's just like, what are we doing?
Do you have any hot takes on this Magic the Gathering thing? I included it just in case you had something to say.
I'm
about
excited for it, but like, it's years off. Because they just announced they're doing it, but it's just like it sounds like it could be good.
That they're making a television movie universe.
There's already a Netflix and I believe animated series that's been in the works. People thought it was canceled, but they're like, no, that's still happening. Okay, but it's also separate from this thing. Okay, which is going to be a movie, hoping maybe to start a
new franchise,
a media franchise with TV series to follow, but a movie to start with. But it's Legendary doing it, and Legendary's on a hot streak right now with Dune 1 and 2,
and I mean
nerd property,
a lot of Nolan stuff,
and so like them taking on the project, it makes me excited. And then later on the same day, I find out Legendary is also tackling live action Gundam.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, Legendary is where is that?
Yeah.
Now, hopefully,
They make a good product.
right. So hopefully they'll
Yeah.
keep carrying that on through these franchises that I love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've been saying Magic's been lacking good media and good lore for years now.
I hope it all works.
I just hope it's good because if not, if they're phoning it in, it's another thing from my childhood that is just packaged up for mass consumption,
And thrown
stripped
away.
down to its bare parts, and then like presented for money and then thrown away.
Yeah.
because it's bad.
Yep.
You know,
Just it's just a whole history and possible future of a franchise destroyed
right?
for
somebody
quick
being like,
cash
"Hey,"
grab.
You know,
And then the only other thing is that HasLab announced their most recent fundraiser, which is a Transformers piece, combiner, Lyle Kaiser from the Victory.
what did Chris say? Like the
He's-
people in
he's
the
on-
business called not a combiner, but a
Gestalt.
Or as Robert D would say, combinder.
Combiner.
you know, like I try to learn some.
I know.
terms,
I
and
know.
Immediately,
You
it's
just got to be like, actually.
sorry.
No. I asked you for one thing earlier, and you couldn't give me my one thing. So now it's going to be really hard to get one thing out of me.
It was a dog, wasn't it?
So anyway, where was I?
Combinder.
Combiners. So I think it looks really good for a Hasbro product.
For a Chugs, I guess. Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. I'm going to do a whole sit down Saturday on it, so I don't need to go take a deep dive. But
It's
like,
definitely not something you're getting.
no. But I'm happy for
Happy people are getting it.
Yeah, and it looks like a high quality approach to it. Like it still is chuggish ruggish to the bone.
Yeah,
and
with
it's going to diss everybody.
waffles and it's got waffles and shit.
Yeah, but it seems like the upper crust of it. You know.
Yeah, above the waffle.
Yes.
the plating above the waffle.
It's the butter and syrup.
yes, it's got good butter and syrup, and that sometimes will save the waffle.
Yes,
I love pancakes.
they're great. Did you have yours this morning?
I forgot.
Oh,
You know what? There's lunch.
yeah. There's always lunch.
Lunch.
And yeah, that's that. Shout out to Dante on Facebook. Shout out to Phil on Twitter and the notes. I'm hoping to have Evan and Dante out next week, but it would be a full cast, depending on how
6 people?
Yeah, depending.
But you don't have the new Octagono
Knock
table.
on wood. No, not yet. Not yet. Probably not for a couple more weeks. But yeah, I think that's it. So with that,
Flappy labius.
Moist thighs.
tight dick player.